.500 horsepower pushing me into my seat, reaching 250 kilometers an hour in a few seconds, while braking just as quick. Driving on some of the most famous tracks in the world. Driving bumper to bumper against great players from all around the world, fighting for the ultimate prize, being the real racer. The Real Race 2021. Sign up now.
Welcome everyone back to Lamborghini The Real Race. If you followed our schedule, then you know what's up for, and that's race number 9. My name is Randy Butler, bringing you all the action live from the track once again in this incredible championship towards the big prize. If you're brand new, don't worry, we'll explain everything before heading into any of the races. And the first thing I'm allowed to explain is actually that I'm not alone in front of camera, nor during the race, as I got Lee Smith with me.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to leave you alone, Rene, that's for sure. It would be a bit tragic, and it'd be quite a long race to just do on your own, 2 hours of an endurance race. But yes, we're back once again. We're going to see whether there's anybody that can contend with the maestro from South Africa, Jordan Sherritt.
Yeah, it is the EMEA region once again. Will be the last time, actually, that you're missing out on the other regions, because in Lamborghini The Real Race number 10, that's a studio show once again. We'll be live in the Lamborghini studio, bringing you all 3 regions. But for today, it's EMEA once again. As Lee mentioned already, we're at Spa-Francorchamps, the iconic endurance racetrack, and that means we're also doing the iconic endurance format, which is a 2-hour race, so there's no sprint race today, no main race. But it had been a sprint and a main race previously when we headed to Silverstone, and here are the highlights for you.
Green flags drop, here we go!
But look how close it gets everywhere. Side-by-side racing action here in the Lamborghini The Real Race Round 8 in Silverstone. Oh, right at the apex, they're both going into different directions. Shiro's not having it though. But God, losing the rear, spinning around. Luckily, not smashing into anyone or into anything. Watch Rosie, a ton fat, oh, and then he just spins Shamarin around.
Bauman has lost it, oh, disaster!
Oh, really getting his slipstream going, and up the inside. Let's see, oh, someone trying to close the door. High-speed corners got a lot of victims there in the previous race. Let's see if that will be different in Spa. It is, in terms of flow, it's a slightly different track. but still, it's very, very high-speed, stylish, I would say, when it comes to that. When it comes to the actual Lamborghini The Real Race event, and you're wondering, hey, what's all of this info? How does it work? Like, first of all, we're obviously working together with ACC, Intel, Kaspersky, and Secret Labs to bring you all of the action today, and that also means we can bring quite a cool format and a great price, right, Lee?
Absolutely, and it's open to everyone. That's the main thing, right? Obviously, we have one more race remaining, just the one, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Everybody that goes into this has a chance to get themselves a headset. That's the main important thing. And of course, we are going to Misano. That race will be on the 28th of November. Qualifications will kick off on the 22nd of November through to the 26th. Now, how's that going to work? Well, get yourself in Assetto Corsa, get yourself onto the solo practice sessions that will be coming up, keep yourself out there, and post yourself simply a very quick time. The top 40 participants will be invited onto a closed server on the Saturday, the 27th, and the top 20 of those 40 participants will be competing for the final race at Misano. And now, as you just mentioned, this will be broadcast also. We'll be covering all 3 regions on the 28th, the final session at Misano, to see who will be crowned the champion, Rene, because there's a big prize for those guys.
There definitely is, and we will go into detail about that a bit later, because there's also something else we want to talk about. But what I have to say right from the get-go, Lee, is it's really sad that we didn't have a Halloween Lamborghini The Real Race, because I was preparing the perfect Halloween outfit for a sim racer Halloween party, because I wanted to go as Jordan Sherritt, right? Which is kind of the nightmare of everyone else on the grid. Very scary, that's for sure. But you said the final event will be in Misano, and there was something else in Misano previously in the real world, because Lamborghini The Real Race does not have real in its name, but also in the entire event, as fans and drivers and guests had the opportunity to drive the brand new Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo EVO 2 that will actually debut in 2022. They were able to try that out already in Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Yeah, participants had the chance to beat Mike Bortolotti, who you just saw there. He's one of the factory drivers. Basically, they set themselves the times around the circuit in this new car, and everybody that went there, at the end of the day, they all had a chance to try and beat that best time. They had the opportunity to meet the drivers as well and take a lap around Misano, as you can see here. Some great fun for everybody that got there.
Yeah, definitely. And the car we're talking about, the Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo EVO 2, is also what you basically could race, right? Or probably Jordan Sherritt will actually get to drive. Because if you're one of the region's winners, then you travel over to Italy and have a day with Lamborghini and the team and the car as well. So that's the huge prize. And let's be real, looking at this and how much fun they had and how tail happy that thing is. I would definitely love to race that.
I love he's trying to film it on his mobile while he's going around the corner, just like hanging on.
I mean, we all tried that once during a tech slip, right? It never really works. Like, if you look at the video afterwards, you're like, what was I even filming?
Why did I think this was going to be a good idea?
There's a lot of G-forces in those cars. And it will be incredible for our winners here in Lamborghini The Real Race to witness that and experience that themselves. Not just in the passenger seat, also in the driver's seat. So definitely something that they will have their eyes on. And probably John Sherritt is already dreaming about it every single night.
And Andrew O'Hara. I'm not going to leave him out because the APAC region, he's dominated over there as well.
True. We actually... Well, actually jumping into what we saw from the car last time is obviously this is season 2 of Lamborghini The Real Race. So we already had a set of winners last time that was joining Lamborghini on the track. So why not even look at the EVO 2 a bit more and the car that you could drive if you win here.
Engine good, positive lap for driver change. Copy, no.
great car, and it's off the prize for now, because what we want to look at now is not the beautiful car that you might be racing if you're winning it. No, it's the actual schedule and what we have behind us in this championship already in Season 2 and what's in front of us. So obviously, we started the season with Monza. I mean, you can't get more iconic than T1 Monza as a start, right? Headed over to Laguna Seca, and then our first endurance race in Suzuka, which, by the way, was incredible race, and that's exactly what I expect from today's race. And then Kialami in South Africa, basically Jordan Sheriff home turf event. That was race number 4.
Yeah, one that, unsurprisingly, he did very well at. Great to see Luke Addison out there in chat as well, who's also took part in a lot of these events. Sanford, of course, we saw the Formula 1 go in there as well. They followed us. That's the problem. Like, we went there, they followed us. Nürburgring, of course, was the second endurance race. We were obviously in the endurance today. Then a quick trip to Catalonia, Silverstone, where, well, there was quite a lot of spins, as you saw in the highlights just a few moments ago. And then, of course, here we are today at Spa for what is going to be another 2-hour endurance race.
Yeah, and then the last final event, that is a Misano Adriatico grand finale that we'll have in the live studio. So we'll get, you get more than our upper buddies on camera. I mean, come on, that's something to celebrate. That's great. I probably need to find some new pens then. All these lockdowns. We'll see how that one works out. But yeah, one more race to come after this one. But Spa is obviously the one that we will concentrate on now, because it's a great track and there's always great racing on. What's also always great is to hear from the CEO of Lamborghini, Stefan Winkelmann.
Pushing the boundaries has been within the DNA of Lamborghini from the very first day. And we all agree that competition helps every company and every individual to never rest and always keep pushing. Of course, this is also true for racing competitions, be it out on the track or in a simulator. In fact, sim racing has experienced a huge growth over the last years, even accelerated during this last year of travel restrictions and other limitations due to COVID. Lamborghini is happy to be a supporter and an important driver of this trend. We share the passion of the sim racing community. With the real race, we are now increasing the competition to 3 regions. This is a great development, underlining Lamborghini's commitment and providing even more racers a chance to engage with our brand. On the company's journey, the development of digital solutions is crucial. Making racing accessible for everyone is close to our heart. In the end, we all in this incredible car universe are in it for the love of cars and the passion for performance. We'd like to wish the best luck to the drivers. We are all looking forward to seeing who will win the championship and become Lamborghini official sim driver in 2022. And now, I invite you to play, to compete, to be entertained by Lamborghini.
Thank you, Stefan Winkelmann. I still have to say, I would be up for driving the car in the background, just if you ever look for someone that might...
FYI, anybody wants to invite us.
Yes! Like, if that car needs to go out of that great hole there, no worries, just call me, give me a shout, and I will come around.
Yeah, we just pop over down to Italy, no problem.
Yeah, we could drive there.
Hop in the car, swing by on the way down.
Easy. Maybe fuel free €3 a litre might be a problem. But what won't be a problem is getting racing action on your screen, because it is Spa-Francorchamps and it is an iconic endurance venue. Great track. Unfortunately, last time I raced there is over 2 years ago by now, because due to the situation that we had, the races were cancelled there. And I heard it's always raining there. The one time I was there, it wasn't, but...
I mean, they had a few rain problems recently, yes.
So do you think rain might be a thing that we see today in the race? I mean...
we can hope so.
In the video, we got great weather in up Rouge to Rédillon, which is obviously the corner everyone knows, maybe not by the perfect name. And then this one I love, the left kink, no name. Absolutely great corner. If you really shoot the car out there, you've got a great run down to the double left-hander to take someone down. Blanchimont is a corner we can't forget about, because that will be slipstream battles over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting track. Obviously, there's a lot of overtaking opportunities, which is why it's such a great track. And obviously, it's got that big iconic uphill section through into Eau Rouge Vallon. And then I expect to see probably quite a lot of slipstreaming as they go down the Kemmel Straight, sort of off the back of that. And that's, as you say, just through the no-name kink. And then that's where you're really looking to get the drag and sort of make those overtakes stick. And we have a full field today, so I think we're going to see quite a lot of action.
Yeah, definitely. And I just hope that everyone has their swimming goggles ready for the dive bombing into La Source. The bit hairpin, which... to me, it's driving. It kind of feels like every single time you go through there, you think you were too slow and that there might be a different line available, but you never hit that line that you have in your mind that makes you go through it quickly, right? It's like, it's a bit weird, La Source. Just putting that out there. Not that easy to look at, but it is a track that also has a lot of elevation changes, right? So we're going up and down on the mountains, which is quite different to Silverstone that we had before. I always count Silverstone as flat, or the British people tell me it's not flat. It's actually up and down as well.
It's quite flat.
Yeah. I think they just never thought any mountains or even proper hills. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a pretty flat circuit. I mean, let's face it, the majority of these old circuits are based off old runway strips, which have to be flat.
Kind of. I mean, if they would have a ramp at the end, maybe that would have helped. I don't know.
It's a different game entirely.
I'm not good in terms of aviation, so I won't judge that. But yeah, the race is a 2-hour race. And normally, when you're here for a Lamborghini The Real Race, there's a sprint race, which is 45 minutes. And then there's a main race, which is an hour. And this time, on the endurance races, which we had 3 of during the season, these are 2-hour races. Like, that's it. There's no sprint. There's no main. It's just that one try that you got. 2 hours. Obviously, you will need pit stops. There are not many ways around that one, because your fuel won't last for 2 hours unless you go fully into eco mode, or maybe got yourself another electric motor helping out. But you will probably also stop for tires, Lee, right? Very unlikely that you will do 2 hours on one set of tires, but you can obviously do it on one set of brake pads, even on the sprint brake pads.
Yeah, and something that we'll need to take note of is that while there is obviously in-game a pit window that suggests they actually are free to pit at any time that they want, and any sort of potential penalty that the game may suggest will get removed if they pit outside of that window. Most people will probably pit around the pit window, which will be the halfway marker. So we'll be looking at around sort of from 50 minutes within the race, for the next 20 minutes sort of after that. So to see when they're going to stop. It's been very interesting if you think of our endurance races that we had so far, certainly at Suzuka, where we saw it really balance out quite considerably based on who took the early pit stop rather than the late pit stop, who went long, getting those fresh rubber down with less fuel. You sort of can gain a lot of time. But I guess, as you say, it really could vary. At the moment, in practice, it's wet. We don't know what it's going to be like when the race gets underway. Obviously, qualifying is based off the times that they've already had. So, we're going to figure out who's going to be the quickest here. But it really could make a difference. As you were saying, when you're driving in the wet, it's not easy to predict exactly how and where, the racing line could be and where it could be slippy. And, sometimes you're going to be looking for maybe that wetter track. Who knows? But let's have a look at some of the drivers that are going to be taking part. As I say, it is a full field today, which is great. And you know what? It's almost by magic. I'm watching the practice and I just saw Tommy Razzieri take a spin straight through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. There you go. So that's exactly what we're expecting.
It's like, obviously, we have our typical drivers in there. Jordan Sherritt is one of them. Tommy Razzieri, you mentioned him already. He's always a top 5 candidate. Alban Bouquet, we had him in the previous race. Benjamin Baumann, who always has a great start, it seems, and comes good into the race, but sometimes lacking the finishes. Luke Edison, obviously, another driver that's also in the chat, so shout out to him. Then we got Arthur Kowarchuk, who's also with us from Poland. Yeah, I read that in the chat because he told us how to pronounce that. Thanks for that. Colandrino, we saw previously. Gabor Rossi, we can't forget about the Hungarian, right? Who had really good races. And since there's always the little battle between Lee coming from the UK and his drivers and me being from Germany and having German drivers, I see only one British driver, Mike Oren, but 2 German drivers made it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we haven't had a British driver for a while. We used to have one in there that did pretty well, but he's disappeared. Obviously, as we say, it's an open qualification, so, sometimes I do recall I think he missed the qualification on one of them. But Gabor Sarosi, there's a driver from Hungary that we've seen throughout the season. It's great to see. Obviously, he's sort of always been there or thereabouts. He has been involved in a couple of crashes recently, I would say. Certainly the last race comes to mind.
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit unlucky in Silverstone, and maybe won revenge here in Spa-Francorchamps. Fabio Colandrino, the 27-year-old Italian, currently in 12th overall. So that's the position that they have in the championship standings, not the position for today. And he obviously will want to improve that. Inside the top 10, I would say, should be fairly simple for Colandrino.
Doable, yeah.
He's a good driver.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely doable for him. So we'll see whether he can improve his position. Somebody that is looking to improve his position and hoping for a South African 1-2, he said in a chat, is Luke Addison. Currently 8th position, has had some fantastic races. Ironically, at Kielama, he had a bit of an out. It's the classic corner towards the end there. He managed to clap that big curbstone and launched him into the nether realm, and off he went. Off he went the track there. But he's open up today. Obviously, he can perform here at Spa.
Yeah, the sausage curbs, always a risky thing to hit on the track. And next up is Benjamin Baumann, the 18-year-old from Switzerland. He's already in full eSports attire, so that's properly prepared for Lamborghini The Real Race. And as I said, he's looking for good results every single time. He's quick, definitely. Sometimes I think I miss a bit of that aggressiveness in fights and that he can really defend for his life. I think that's what I'm missing. That's a bit better with Ruggieri and who's the other French driver that we had a ton up there?
Bouquet?
No, it isn't Bouquet. It's a driver that's not around for today.
Oh, he's been racing with Ruggieri non-stop, hasn't he?
Yes.
I can't think the last 2 races. I do know all your mind. My brain's gone blank, but Ruggieri here has been doing very well. You know what? I'm going to find that one out for you as well, because I know he's going to be in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, it's like Ruggieri had great races, had awful races as well. I would say one of the comeback drivers for a ton of races. Maybe even most overtakes of the season.
Bonacorsi.
Bonacorsi. No, there's another one.
Oh, it was
another one.
Bonacorsi that he's been racing with the last 2 times.
Yes, but there was a different driver previously. We had a ton of rivalries in this championship. And there's one big rivalry, and that's the manhunt for exactly this guy, Jordan Sherrod, 22 years old, from South Africa. And currently, he won every single event, but I think he did not win every single race. Point-wise, he should have won every event that we did. But if I'm not mistaken, he did not win one race, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Bonacorsi has been the only other person that has one, apart from Jordan Sherrod, as far as I'm aware. But
Ciclari and Tavanari I was talking about.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to say, Tavanari has not won a race. Like I said, there's only one person that's won.
Yeah.
Other than Jordan.
I meant fighting with Ruggieri. Like Ciclari and Tavanari, they're the ones that normally around him. Tinker van der Velde, unfortunately not with us today. Who was a great driver as well. Really cool style. Awesome to watch. Boulet not with us.
Boulet, that's another one of the French drivers, yes. Did very well towards the start of the season. I would say that, there's a chance. Ruggieri, yes, he's going to confirm his second place today. I don't think there's anyone that's going to challenge him. Ciclari's not here as far as I'm aware. As you say, I don't see Tavanari either. So he's maybe fallen out of the wayside, or maybe he struggled to qualify here. Who knows? It's looking like a pretty packed field for Spa. Everybody always turns up for Spa. That's the thing, right? Everybody loves this track.
It is a great track, and we also have good chances, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I shouldn't say if. Jordan Sherrod will be leading the grid into the start, and he will probably come up the hill over Radio first onto Camel Stretch. And that means that everyone else can sit in a slipstream down to the first chicane, which is what you have on your screen right now, and then launch it into this one, which is an incredible combination. Although I have to say, look at the weather there. It's not looking too good.
No, it's definitely going to be a wet race, I think, which is, I'm actually quite excited to see. You know, a 2-hour endurance in the wet, that will test your focus. There's no doubt about it. There is a lot of opportunities to get it very, very wrong. You know, how we're watching, I certainly have Razzieri on at the moment. I'm watching him sort of head up the hillside. It's like, how risky do you take it? Because, you know, if you try and go flat through Eau Rouge and Radion, which, you know, everybody, like, the ego dictates that you're going to do it, right? It's almost telling you, I need to be flat, I need to be flat. But honestly, I think when it's like this, you might want to lift, because you could find yourself going down that Kemmel Straight backwards. There's no doubt about it. So, you know, during a 2-hour session, you're going to be going around that. I mean, a lot of times. We're gonna see like 30-40 laps, aren't we? So a lot of room for errors. There's no doubt about it. So you focus for a 2-hour session. Anybody that's done endurance racing, you know, obviously 2 hours is probably like on the minimum bubble of an endurance race. But anyone that's done those endurance sessions knows how hard it is mentally to keep your brain engaged, because you get almost into this. And everybody that's drove a long distance will know what I'm talking about. You sort of get into this, sort of your mind checks out, and suddenly you're like, wait, I can't even remember that last lap that I just did, but I've done it. So it's kind of scary. You sort of lose track of it. So you've got to make sure that the focus is there.
Yeah, definitely. And we previously had that view down the hill, basically, from end of Kemmel Stretch, then down into start finish. We saw the buildings in the background. Beautiful look. And while we have that beautiful scenery and still seeing all the pouring rain here in Spa-Francorchamps, we will head into a short break so everyone can get their knives out and maybe cut new thread into their tires to make sure that they have enough rain tires for what might to come. And then we'll be back after short break with racing action. Welcome back, everyone. We're back from the short break. Lamborghini The Real Race. Race number 9 out of 10 right before the grand finale. And it is Spa-Francorchamps. That's up next. The big Jordan Sherritt show, as some call it. And it might be different in today's 2-hour endurance race because although we're big fans of Jordan Sherritt, Lee, we're always hoping that we see him once again to go from last to first, kind of.
Absolutely. And as far as I know, the session's going to be starting in just a few moments. So let's sort of get straight into it as we were. Because honestly, today it could be very interesting to see how this one's going to work out. Obviously, we know that Jordan Sherritt, yes, is a great driver. Yes, he's been doing fantastically well. But the biggest thing is the fact that it is wet. And I've been watching these guys practice for the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. There's been quite a lot of offs. These guys have been testing everything.
Did Jordan Sherritt hear us out? Because for me, on the timing screen currently, he starts 19th.
Yeah, so did he not? I'm just,
Does he not start pole?
I see him down there.
Does it really happen?
Has it really happened?
Oh my goodness me.
I mean, this will make it very entertaining because we know he can do first to last. He's done it before already. But yeah, the session's going to be getting underway in a moment. And he is 19th. He is.
That's the best thing ever happened.
I mean, this is like watching Hamilton yesterday, right? Obviously in the sprint race, he's getting ready to go. But this time they got 2-hour session to try and work his way to the front of the grid. Unfortunately, I do now see him.
Yeah, so we got Bouquet and Rogeri in the front row. Then Bauman and Addison in 3rd and 4th.
No. They are saying, no, damn it. The chat's saying, restart. Jordan's in the wrong position. And Jordan's like, hello.
It was like Kowalczyk wasn't
We
fifth.
wanted him to start from the back. It's like a punishment for being so good.
Leave him like that. He won enough races by now from pole. So I think we should go with what it is. Don't restart it. I wonder if the rest is right. Like Bouquet and Rogeri would still be 2nd and 3rd then if Jordan Sherritt will be 1st. Lippin's only in 17th. Your man Orant only on 16th. Lee, the British driver that's further down the field.
I just asked, it's like, can you not start from races? I mean, I don't mind. I could.
Race control tells us we're really restarting. That's very sad.
He's actually said, okay, you know what? Leave me last. I mean,
by now. But no, that sounds really weird. But Jordan Sherritt is leading with 404 points, right? If he wants to have a great race and just start from the back and overtake everyone, man, I'm up for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on. Fine with me. If he says that's okay, let's do it. I wonder, because I see that the session start time is still, like, the count is still running down. Jordan Sherritt is still in 19th. Bouquet would get his first pole position. That's for sure. And I see that your cat is a huge fan of Jordan Sherritt, complaining already.
He's just come to see the start and he's complaining that Jordan's not on the front. Yeah.
Even cats nowadays support Jordan Sherritt.
Oh, they're starting the banter now. Can I touch your rear wing? Oh yes, the racing banter.
Yeah, maybe we should check that. We should check the rear wing of everyone by now. And if anyone touches Jordan Sherritt's rear wing, that's a €50,000 fine. That goes towards the fund for Lamborghinis for Lee and Renee.
I did like Vettel's comment of, can I touch the front? Maybe it's only 25.
Why should the front wing be cheaper? Isn't it but nowadays way more elaborate?
Technically probably more, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. His team were like, please don't do that.
Yeah. I would love to see Vettel doing that now. I think that would be quite entertaining. All right, so I can see the car starting into their formation lap. And I can still see Jordan Sherritt being listed as 19th.
I mean, he did just say, it's like, look, if you need to do this, we're going to have to restart the entire server. So I don't know whether they're just going to go with it. They go with the flow. I would get it on the screens just in case, because it does look like we are going to go live here, I think. So let's just get this going.
Yeah, we will actually race Well, that is great. So it is Bouquet in front of Ruggieri. That's the front row for the 2-hour race in Spa. And off we go, right into Rodillon. Seems like Bouquet can actually keep them up the front in front of Ruggieri. Baumann with absolutely no chance to move alongside. So everyone single file. And we might even make it up into Rodillon without a single crash so far. I saw a few cars cutting the corner there. But other than that, it's totally fine. And Bouquet, he can keep to lead even at the end of the Camel Straight.
And Sherratt is already up to 16th. He's working his way through the field. According to my live timings, ignore what the tower says, but that's what my live timings is telling me, that he's already managed to work his way up to 15th now, actually, past Oron. So, he's, good sportsmanship for Jordan. Like, he actually was first in qualification, but he just said, you know what, I'm free to go with it. I want to have fun with this, and that is exactly what they're looking to do here. So Bouquet in the lead, Razzieri second in the points overall, and Benjamin Baumann, of course, was fourth overall. Luke Addison looking to improve his time as well and try and get up. He was 8th in the standings overall. So all looking to get themselves up there, see if they can improve their timings. But as we say, look at that clock. Look at that timing. 1 hour 58 to go. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, it is a marathon, and talking about, it's not a sprint, but Fazekas is already attacking Calandrino in the background. That's around 6th and 7th position. So, it is on every position. Like, everyone's currently trying to see if they can make an early move, and the only one really making the big moves is obviously Jordan Sherratt, as he's still already up to 15, so he won 4 spots right at the start. 4. Actually, now he's moving up to 13th, so he will be soon.
No.
Look inside the top 10 already.
I'm just gonna get like my auto director's saying no, so I'm just gonna get him on the screen, because what is going on? This man is blasting through the fields, and no, mine's just not having any of it. So I'm gonna
yeah, I think that's our server just deciding that it's too much rain and more like a red flag situation, because currently I don't see any cars out on the track there anymore.
No,
that's it. That's typical endurance racing, to be honest. I mean,
they decided, you know what, we are going to restart the server. That's wow.
Right, so we get a new server. That's totally fine and fair.
I mean, I think we could have just gone with it, but yeah, I guess that's what's happening.
But I would have loved to see all the Jordan Sherratt moves, to be honest, as a highlight video.
It was already up to 13th. I mean, within a lap. So
just a lap more, and you would have been where you should have started. So that was totally fine. But we will return with Lamborghini The Real Race and a restart here at Spa-Francorchamps. Sure, probably in the rain. Hopefully in the rain. Who knows? With the 2-hour race just after a short break. Lamborghini The Real Race, race number 9 in Spa-Francorchamps is still ahead of us. You're not too late. Don't worry at all. You might have wondering where was that countdown coming from. That's because we had a red flag. Just typical endurance racing, right? So we'll head back into Spa-Francorchamps for a 2-hour endurance race. It's still Rainy Butler alongside Lee Smith, bringing you all of the racing action that hopefully will remain in the rain, Lee, because I really, really want to have another wet race.
I've seen the settings. It's definitely going to be in the rain. It's definitely going to be in the rain. They're back in there. The windscreen wipers are going. I've got Kuachuk on my screen at the moment. He's hammering round, but it is very wet out there. But I did like the early indications we had there. We had a very clean start, didn't we? From our point of view at the front, at least. It may have got a bit messy down the back. We didn't see the tail end of it. But at the front, it was looking very clean. So hopefully that's an indication of how it's going to go. We know, obviously, it can sometimes get a little messy at the start of Spa. But generally, it's okay. It's not like one of those tight, twisty sections. It's not like the big chicane at Monza, everybody piles in and then forgets their braking points in the adrenaline rush that they get. But I do foresee some problems, like with I'm watching Kuachuk right now, and it's tricky going up through Radion, Arouge and Radion. It's if you don't quite get your line right, if you're trying to slip past someone, then it can get messy. But the server's ready to go, and the game is up. So let's get that on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, and get ourselves in position for what will be 2 hours of racing action.
Yeah, and what will be the usual sight now that Jordan Sherritt is back on pole position means he will lead us into this 2-hour endurance race, and it's Bouquet on a second, and right behind Ruggieri and Baumann on the second row. Then on your left side on the screen, we've got Luke Edison, another South African driver in the blue and black Lamborghini. Arthur Kwarchuk on the right, so that is 5th and 6th. 7th is Calandrino and Fazekas. Those two were actually fighting already in the race that we restarted, so it will be interesting to watch these two. Andreas Jansen and Garbush Rossi in 9th and 10th to complete our top 10 here at the Spa race. Barberi only in 11th this time, right next to German driver Domescu Christian on a 12th, and then Florent Pangrace in 13th. Heiko Hütten on your left. That is the car in green next to Nico Kumpo, a new driver, at least to me, in this race series. Didn't saw him in previous ones. Rafael Alves returning once again in a yellow and red next to Mike Oren. That's the British driver that Lee will be cheering on. And Roman Lipins on the left with Robin Hurrick, another German driver, all the way in the back, 19th.
Yeah, so let's see how this one goes. It's going to be green flag drops as they approach the line. Jordan Sherritt is at the front this time. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That is where he belongs, and that's where everything had to be shuffled about. Server reset, configured correctly as we hit that 2-hour mark. They approach the lights as we're going to get to see Jordan Sherritt floor it as soon as they reach the start. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag drops. Sherritt in the lead, Bouquet second, Razzieri as they approach in through Eau Rouge. It gets it all very tight through there. Looks pretty clean, certainly from the front. Kuachuk has gone wide, just squips on through No Name, and then onto the Kemmel. Bouquet just defending a little bit there along with Razzieri. Baumann losing a place, or certainly trying to regain a place there, but it is looking good, and the man from South Africa in the lead.
Yeah, I think Ruggieri got a drive through already for a cut, and a bit further down in the pack there's a big fight around Kwarchuk. So ton of action, but a really clean start once again. But that's Kwarchuk, I'm just saying that, basically jinxing it as he goes off right into the wall. Hopefully not that much damage, but Pangraves and Jensen right behind, immediately closing that gap, and then it cost a lot of time and probably will even get him out of the top 10 here at the start.
Yeah, Calandrino off, and I think Domenico Cristian as well, also having a bit of an outing. I can see some damage on the front of those cars as well. So Gabasarossi up behind Cristian, looking to slot in there. I can see, looks like there's sort of problem with Kumpo as well. Not too sure what that is. Is that the warning that's gone there? As you say, drive-through penalty for Razzieri coming up. So that's something from the start. So one of the front runners there getting a drive-through very early on. Did he? He must have jumped. Did he? I didn't see any problems. So he must have jumped the line.
Yeah, either he jumped the start or he cut radio up to like radio up to Camel too crazily. Not quite sure, but we will get a replay from race control of what happened to Calandrino, who was around Barberi in the front. So that should be Calandrino on your right. Let's see what's happened. That's the end of Camel Straight. Everyone trying to brake. Bit slippery there, especially over the curb. Rear got a bit loose and they get tapped in the back. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, through Lacombe.
Yeah, car got loose in Lacombe due to the curb. They're super slippery, obviously, in the wet. And then with his rear wiggling around, got tapped by one of the cars behind.
So that's why we saw 4 cars going off there, wasn't it? That all got caught up in that. I saw a couple of places being shuffled here, there, and everywhere, but it does seem that they've managed to correct themselves out now. Looks like Heikki down the back. Yeah, he's under pressure. Gabor Sarosi, looks like a stack of them. I think these are all the cars that sort of all went off towards the back end, obviously. Heikki getting caught in it. Alves, Miko Christian, and the Calandrino. So all the way down the back. But you can see just how he's fighting it. He's fighting it through Radin there. You can see Sarosi had to go over the curb as well. And I tell you, they're all going to take a little while to find their feet at the moment.
Luke Edison side by side with Tommy Ruggieri right behind Benjamin Baumann. That's another fight up ahead. That's position 3, 4, 5. With now Edison also feeling the pressure from Fazekas, who caught up to that grid. Well, we got Jordan Sherrod on your screen. He's doing what a Jordan Sherrod does. And that's leading the pack no matter the circumstances, no matter the weather, no matter the track. And he's getting away from Bouquet, but that's the big fighting group. That's Luke Edison in the middle, surrounded by Tommy Ruggieri, who got the drive-through penalty already, and Fazekas in the background. They closed the gap to Baumann just a few seconds ago, basically. But then, due to them starting to fight, they dropped in pace once again, and now Edison has to defend himself.
Yeah, Fazekas really putting the pressure on. There's the penalty for Gabor Sarosi, 5-second penalty in there, so obviously that's just it's the smallest penalty you can give, but the fact is he was at fault, so they're just trying to squeeze on through. Down at P14, that is Gabor Sarosi himself, along with Mike Orant and Roman Lippins, I should say. Losing a position there. You can see Alves up behind him as well. So Sarosi through. You can see Heikki looking to try and do the same. Hoytinen really wants to try and squeeze on through. Not going to happen at the moment, but fights all around. I mean, this is... They need to remember this. There's another 2 hours to go in this race. 1 hour 55 to go. This is not a sprint race, guys. But they are certainly looking for those places early on.
Yeah, definitely. And Ruggieri now comes in for his drive-through. So I just saw him turning into the pits while Sarosi has Lippins in the background, who might get overtaken very, very soon. Talking about the differences that we see in the grid so far. Everyone obviously on wet tires in these conditions out there. But we see quite a few different settings when we look into the cockpits of the drivers in terms of traction control. While P7 around Korchak seems to be another fighting group with Pangraves being involved. For example, Korchak is running TC4 on his car currently. Jordan Sherrod is running 1. Many started with 3, but turned it down already to either 2 or 1. And then there's a few PC4 out of 8 settings that they have further back in the pack. So you kind of see it that there's more confidence at the first half of the grid in these conditions.
You'll be unsurprised to know that Jordan Sherrod set the fastest lap so far. It's not too surprising. He's already built himself, nearly a 2-second gap there. As he leaves the field behind. I think it would have been more entertaining to watch him work his way through the field, but we don't decide the rules, and in fairness, his correct starting position was at the front. We were very surprised to see him at the back. They were like, this doesn't look right. But that wasn't the case. So Kuchuk under a little bit of pressure here still. Pangraves keeping the pressure on and looking to try and make that move stick. Gabor Sarosi also on Mike Orant, I believe, further down as well. That's down in 12th position as, Gabor Sarosi trying to put pressure onto Mike Orant. As I mentioned, the one British contender in there as still trying to hold them off.
Yeah, like Sarosi with the 5-second deficit Even if he now gets Oren, that's not really helping. That's the fight for 14th. Huttinen on Roman Lippens. Lippens in the yellow and red car. Huttinen in the green. Yeah, classic move here at the end of Camel Straight. Into Lecom. Nicely done. No problem for any of the drivers here. And as you said, it's an endurance race. Like, of course you want to fight a racing driver, right? You never want to give up a single position no matter what. But there's still a few more kilometers to come.
Yeah, looks like Pengraves just seeing an opportunity, not quite able to make it stick there. New fastest lap coming in from Jordan Sherritt now, 2:25.7 as he goes over the line and continues to blitz everybody else's times. You can see, though, Bouquet trying to keep him in check as best he can, but it's now a 2.5 second gap, and he's going to start disappearing up that hill a lot quicker. But as I mentioned, you know, we're watching Jordan going up that hill. It is not clean, is it? It is not clean. It's a bit slippy as they go up there once again, so they're going to be careful. And certainly something to consider, especially in the rain, is that cutting penalties could kick in. You know, if you just get it wrong just a few too many times, you're going to suddenly start seeing those cutting penalties kicking in.
Yeah, Luke Edison around P3 now, locking onto Benjamin Baumann, so he got away from Fazekas, and he actually closed the gap to the young Swissman that is currently sitting on the last podium spot. While we see Penrose going a bit deep into Lecom. Oh, touching quad shot there. That was unfortunate.
Pass, though.
Luckily, nothing big happened.
I mean, he made the move stick, but it certainly wasn't clean, was it? Yeah, went through a little bit deep. I think there was more Kurchuk, but yeah, they're definitely struggling for grip, some of these guys out there at the moment. Back at Luke Addison, he's been putting the pressure onto Benjamin Baumann consistently. We'll see whether he can make it work. Does look like Fazekas has backed off quite a bit, though, hasn't he? He was on the back of this pack, so whether he's made a mistake. But Addison's looking at just a little sniff up the inside. Defensive move from Baumann just to make sure he holds the apex as Addison tries to take it around the outside. Yeah, and realizes this is not going to work. 2 will certainly become 1 if we try and stick this corner.
Yeah, but it's really interesting how all of a sudden Addison can provide so much pressure onto Benjamin Baumann, right? Is it Benjamin Baumann dropping off pace, or is it just Addison finding his confidence and his flow now in these tricky conditions? We still see the pouring rain out there. The line is definitely wet. It's not being dried out yet by the cars, and I kind of think that won't even happen, at least not for the next few minutes, as current prediction says in 30 minutes we'll get even more rain. So it will not get dry anytime soon, but I also think these fights will not be done anytime soon, as Huttinen now locks onto Orend, and that might drop your UK driver lead another spot down. Currently, Mike Orend in 13th.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling for pace in the rain, isn't he? And looks like Hoytunen's going to get that one done. This may have been a couple of the drivers that are a little bit out of position as well after that contact at the start. So there was I couldn't collect to figure out who the 4 drivers that were, but there were a few drivers that went off there. So looks like he certainly got that move done very nicely, though, into the source, didn't it? So managed to make it stick, and through he goes. Luke Addison very close on Benjamin Baumann once again as they go up through Radlon. And at the moment, they're not down the Kemmel. This is a chance on the back into towards Lecom. That's a real chance to overtake it if he can get the track right. He's looking to try and make his move, wants to get up the inside, but yeah, doesn't get close enough to sort of make it work, because it is a bit of a sweeping S-bend through there. If you're not in the right position, you can easily think you've got it and then lose that position immediately afterwards.
Yeah, definitely, but we saw how long he had to stay inside the slipstream before moving into the inside, and I wonder if that was just a bad accident already on, not having enough grunt there to basically make it. Jordan Sherritt still in the lead, and it's 2.5 seconds already over Bouquet, and then it's Baumann another 5.5 seconds off, so
I'm glad to see that, you know, in a previous race we've seen on Spa in a different game, we've been seeing a lot of people take the race in line just back there. I think it's somewhere around the Kemmel or just after Lecom, but there's an exit where there's a plastic runoff. And a lot of people were using it, almost straddling the grass and going along that runoff. We were always trying to figure out, it's like, Is that really a quicker line? Because it seems really a risky move to make. And I did just watch a car, and I thought Sherritt was about to do it actually, but he actually pulled out of it. So I was just trying to keep my eye on his line, because at the moment he is blitzing everybody for pace. That said, Mr. Bouquet has actually got the fastest lap now.
Yeah, he's doing really well behind Jordan Sherritt, but looking at the gap, that is 3.5 seconds all of a sudden. Even it's not looking like it will get him very far. Yeah, we're talking about the AstroTurf, that obviously in Spa there's a lot of that. Look at that, left and right. Normally when it gets wet, it's really slippery, as seen there. So AstroTurf, definitely not your friend in the rain.
Sherritt's just retaken fastest lap, by the way. That's why it's
Not
decided
surprised.
to highlight him. He's just like, nope, that's my fastest lap. Thank you very much.
I'm not surprised Jordan Sherritt is able to answer immediately. I mean, he's just so quick. So is Addison, by the way, still behind Baumann. While around 12, that's Jansen against Huttinen. Huttinen definitely involved in the crash that we had right in lap 1. So did Mesco Christian and Fabio Calandrino. So they're all further down than they should be. And you definitely see the difference in pace here with Huttinen against Jansen. How easy it was for him to close the gap. And I'm pretty sure that going into Lacombe, these two will have switched positions.
Something I will try and keep my eye on, we've got a long way to go in this race, is Mr. Tommy Ranzieri. We'll keep our eye on how he's done. Obviously, he had that drive-through penalty at the start, so he is going to be a long way down, but should see whether he can sort of gain those places as we go. Hoytinen making this move stick on Janssen. Looks like it's been a pretty easy one for him there at the end of the straight, so no troubles as he works his way through the pack. So he's been pretty active so far, hasn't he? We've seen him taking over Lippens, Orant, and now Janssen chasing down Gabassarosi, who already has that 5-second penalty. So should be back into 11th in no time at all.
Yeah, definitely still has a shot at top 10 spot. I mean, we see Robin Hurry currently the second German driver in 10th, and he started second to last and went up to 10th due to what happened in lap 1 there. A bit of a mess we had in the background of the pack. So I would be surprised if Huttinen can't keep up there and make it happen. Calandrino against Lippens. That's another fight with, I would say, a bit of a skill gap. Calandrino should be fairly quicker here in Spa against Romain Lippens. But still, it's one thing to actually close the gap. It's a completely different story to actually make a move. And it's something that Luke Edison is feeling as of right now. Still behind Benjamin Baumann. Still only looking at a podium spot. But not getting it just yet.
Yeah, Luke Addison's just, he's actually fell away a little bit. You can see he's just sort of getting himself in the position. I mean, often that is the case if they try and make a move, doesn't quite work. You sort of lose a little bit of a track ground. So Addison's certainly doing very well at the moment, though. Jordan Sherritt still the race leader out there, 6 laps in now. Very much looking strong at the start. No fastest lap this time around. He is still holding the fastest lap at the moment. Bouquet trying to keep him in check, and in fairness, Bouquet has kind of pulled away from Baumann and Addison and Fesikas. That little battle has been going on back there, but you can see just how much they're having to wrestle with the car up through the corners and making sure, you know, at any moment, I just feel that like it's so scary going up through Radon and Eau Rouge like that, and obviously we've just seen, oh, Addison, he's got a real chance here as they come down the Camel. He is on the outside, though, so he's looking for that switchback. It's going to be the outside this corner, the inside the second corner. That's what he's looking to do, but it doesn't look like he's going to be in position. He tries to go for the switchback on Baumann, but Baumann's not having any of it. Is going to get the drive on the second exit, which is what he's looking for now to try and get up the inside. Is he going to be in there? He's got a decent car length in, has got his nose in. He should be able to make this one stick, I think, Rene. It's a great move from Luke Addison. Well thought out ahead of time.
Yeah, that was really planned, strategized perfectly in that case for Luke Edison. I mean, going side by side for several corners, and it looked like he was losing it already and he might have to wait another lap, but in his mind, everything was just perfectly working according to plan, and it's great to see that then come into such a strong finish for Luke Edison, who now moved up to podium spot, and I have to say, he really let Benjamin Baumann look bad in this one. That was incredible.
Well, Baumann's not giving up on that position, it seems. Doesn't want to let it slip. It's funny you talked about it, obviously, how he needs to try and be more defensive at the start of the show, and obviously seeing that, you know, he did what he could. Because there's only so many moves you can make, right, to be defensive. He positioned his car in the right position going into Le Combe, and it was just well thought out. You know, the switchback after switchback sort of building for Luke Addison there. So the South African looking to emulate Jordan Sherratt, who currently leads out in front, and seeing whether he can try and gain some ground on him. Certainly looking very fantastic there. Ooh, Baumann still having a little nibble back at Addison as well. Still not able to get past, so I think Addison, it's going to take him a little while to shake out Benjamin, the Swiss driver, off his backside. He wants that position back. He wants to be on the podium.
Yeah, but Luke Addison seems to be on fire. I mean, he was capable of closing that gap. He showed us great overtaking and an awesome strategy to do that. Really laid out a plan in front of him and then executed it perfectly. And man, as much as I'm a fan of seeing a Swiss driver having a big impact here, and Benjamin Baumann is definitely a consistent one, being in these races every single time, being up the front every single time. But I just don't see him yet to have that spark that Luke Addison was basically just showing us there, which was incredible racecraft.
Yeah, just as you say, the racecraft, basically to sort of get in there and engineer and tactically think out the move multiple turns in advance, or maybe laps in advance, to sort of try and position the guy you're following, sort of almost sell him a dummy that you're going to go this way a couple of times, and then that lap when you want to overtake him, you go the opposite direction and just completely catch him napping in his defensive position, because there's only so many times you can sit there looking in his mirror trying to watch exactly what you're doing.
Now, let's see what happens at the rest of the grid. So far, closest is Pangrace, but we just heard from race control that it was a big save, and big saves are always entertaining to watch. So let's have that as replay. What happened there? Who we are on board with?
You knew it was going to be up through Harouche, didn't you?
Oh, he went way too aggressive over the
good
curve
catch, though.
on the left, but the catch was incredible.
Yeah, so very good catch for Laurent Pangraves there. Currently running down in 8th, and you can see that's probably why Kumpo is close behind him and Kurchuk just ahead. So seeing whether he can chase them down, this little pack forming. I love the fact that sometimes in these races we do get these little packs that start to form, whether it's based on, you know, one driver being particularly slower or a mistake being made, but Pangraves absolutely getting it done there. Kurchuk looking like he was just a wee bit out of position, wasn't he? Should be up the inside this time, and his car is very much in front.
Yeah, that was an easy pass here right in front of Blanchimont, but he still gives enough slipstream to Wojciech to might make a comeback here into the chicane, but not launching up the inside. No dive bombing coming in. No diving goggles needed, it seems. But Kumpu also closed the gap, so that's now a three-way fight.
Yeah, Kumpu getting himself in there. Kumpu, we did see him making a mistake early on. I did just see, I think it was Huracán running very wide back there. I think Gabba Sarosi, yeah, he's just passed him. Yeah, I thought I saw in the background a car going very wide. He's going to try and send it up the inside there. Sarosi being respectful of it, but realizing I do have position. Get yourself back out of there. And Robin, unfortunately, while he had gained a lot of places off that accident in the first lap, does seem to now be being caught back up. You can see Heikki Hoitonen closing them both down from behind as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's not up to the pace that the drivers are doing around him. Korczak, by the way, looked up the inside of Pangrace into a Le Combe, but once again, that did not work. But man, he's all over Pangrace right now. Really interesting to watch. Bit slippery on those curbs once again when they come out the tight 90-degree right-hander, and it will be interesting to see if Kumpu gets involved fairly soon. So far, he's just been an observer in the background, watching these two fight, maybe waiting for a mistake. Or he could very well just jump into it himself.
Auto director at times really wants to show me Jordan Sherratt. It's just like, look, this guy's the leader. We need to see him more often. But Jordan, I'm afraid you are on an island on your own right now. There's not a great deal to show for him. What I do want to show is Heikki Hoitonen working his way through the pack once again. He's on the backside of Robin Huracán there, and should be able to make this one stick. as he works his way through. We saw him earlier on. He was a second plus adrift at one point, but it does seem that some of these guys really are struggling to find the grip out there.
Yeah, it's still tricky, right? The conditions are changing, and we get more rain, so you kind of settle in, you're dialed in, you think, okay, I can up the speed a bit, because you feel better and you know how the conditions are, but they're getting progressively worse, right? So with every little bit of confidence you get, it gets more tricky, and someone went really wide there. That was quite check, I think.
Yes, it was Kurchek. Yeah, sorry, I'm turning the auto director off. It just wants to show me Jordan Sherritt non-stop. It's got some sort of love going for him at the moment, and why not? Who hasn't got love for Jordan Sherritt? But the fact is, it's not that entertaining to see the man at the front doing his business. I was surprised Kumpo didn't actually benefit off that there. Back down, Heikki Hoitonen keeping the pressure on as well onto Robin Hurik there. Just gonna keep on pushing. But the green car at the moment of Heikki Hoitonen, he's worked his way past Janssen, Orent, Calandrino, Lippens. He's doing some fantastic work regaining those positions that he lost early on.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Robin Hurik will be done fairly soon and dropping another position. Now that Heikki Hoitonen is right behind, and got a slipstream here. Look at that, all the wipers doing their best to somehow get clear view for Heikki, but he will not dive into that one, while Ruggieri now making his first move after the drive-through penalty on Alves.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go, but there's plenty of time to do it. Obviously, he had that drive-through penalty. We know this guy is fast. He is second in the championship. It's almost akin to, obviously, what we saw Jordan Sherritt having to do. He's going to have to make his way back through the field and really work his way in there. He's still got a long way to go in terms of timings as well. Obviously, Alves having a problem back there. But Heikki looks like he's still trying to get this move done on Robin. But it's just taking him a lot longer, that's for sure. I don't know whether that's Robin being more defensive or whether Heikki's just not finding his opportunities right now.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Hurik now tries to be a bit more aggressive, while Heikki definitely does. Get a bit more aggressive, sliding his Lamborghini Huracán GT3 there in the background, which has cost him a bit of time, bring him back, so giving him another clear run. Sometimes still that helps, like being stuck behind someone is one thing, but if you have a quicker pace, sometimes it's good to fall back and get clean corners again, so you might have a bit more momentum out of one corner that gets you into a proper position, because once you're stuck behind, as in like really, really close, you're kind of copying your front runner anyway.
Yeah, you get that dangerous situation of just following the leader, as it were. Well, Hurik did go very wide there. Heikki just a little flash. I mean, he doesn't need to give the position back, but he did run certainly very wide. But Heikki... Okay, here we go. This is it. This is going to be the moment. He's going to try and be as close as he can. Hard round the corner. He's trying to position it for the undercut already, but it does look like he's going to stuck behind him as they go up into a Rouge, but he's going to be very close behind him into a Rouge here.
Yeah, it's like you just need to make sure that you're not cutting the curb too much. We just saw it on the previous laps, right? The great save that we had, and Heikki really taking the curbs there. The inside on the right, up to Rodillon, onto Camel straight, and now in the slipstream of Robin Hurik. Could this be enough? There's still more than 1.5 hours to go, so we're not even 30 minutes into this race. So many overtaking already happening. I'm sure there are a few real-life race series dreaming about having so many overtakes.
Yeah, I mean, Heikki, he looked like he was going to be close enough, but as soon as he pulled out, he just lost so much speed, didn't he? Out of that drag, and it just wasn't there for him. You can see he's very much running under the bumper of Robin, but it's just got to find his opportunity. And at the moment, Robin Hurik, who has gained 8 positions, by the way, so far in this race. Heikki has got his position back, but he's also gained 2 more, looking to make it 3 as they come blasting through. And trying his best to get through there, but Robin's doing a great job at keeping him in check, but it's finally happened, and Heikki makes the move stick.
Yeah, let's see how we can spread that gap during the next lap. Rossi, he was still inside the top 10 with a 5-second penalty. That will be very interesting because he will drop a bit further down. I think he will drop behind Heikki. He's now obviously on the run to get Rossi and get his name up into the top 10. Further up the front, Benjamin Baumann now 1.6 seconds away from Luke Edison. So Edison really using the afterburner on his car and trying to close the gap to Alban Bouquet. That gap is still fairly big, and it's even bigger to this guy on your screen, Jordan Sherritt, who is once again leading.
Flying through, really. Let's have a look at the replay here. As Jordan Sherritt blasts his way down the Camel Straight, looking very strong right now. Once again, the South African delivering all the way. This is the in-car view of Heikki getting it done on Robin Hurrig here. Just almost brake checked there by Robin, wasn't he? Almost essentially. And I think that's why we're seeing him flashing the lights, thinking, okay, this is it, up the inside. Just going to tend it. Yeah, and you can see Robin just realised he'd outdone himself, just missed his brake point, sent himself a little too wide, and Heikki goes through.
Yeah, it's like Heikki obviously put his nose in there, and that would have been a dive bomb if you launched it, right? But he basically just threatened Hurrig, like, oh, I could be there at the inside, which led to Hurrig trying to be a bit further outside, didn't work with his braking point then anymore, and he's kind of scared him out of this maneuver, allowing Heikki Huhtinen to move through. It's a fairly smart move, but definitely if he would have tried that maneuver, like really by himself, it would either have not worked or led to a penalty, that's for sure, because it would have been a proper dive bomb.
You can see almost how cautious they're being, I think, in the turns. I'm watching Benjamin Baumann here from his front bump, and you can see just sort of like, kind of like fighting with it almost. It's not like a smooth corner, is it? It's just having to shuffle it round there. And I gotta be honest, there's something in my system that just loves Jordan Sherritt. It keeps going back to him. Guys, I want to show entertaining angles, not just Jordan Sherritt, who actually runs wide there.
Yeah, so doing his best up front. Probably not being used to actually being on camera. And Spa-Francorchamps is not just iconic, obviously, for its endurance racing. There's a 24-hour race, GT race on it, right? There's several other championships racing in Spa-Francorchamps across many, many years and many different layouts across the years. But what it was known for nowadays, especially after a certain endurance championship visit, is obviously track limits. And let's just say people love to extend them a tiny bit each and every time here at Spa-Francorchamps. And all the top guys currently doing that here as well. Luckily, Fia is not watching. While Calandrino has an easy pass here around Oren. That was way easier than expected.
Drove around him. Yeah. I think whether Oren's struggling in the wet or not, but as you mentioned, Calandrino obviously was involved in an incident on the first lap. So trying to regain his positions, just like we've already seen Heikki Huhtinen doing, but a bit more work to do for Calandrino. But as you say, that was a very easy pass. Oren almost just got out of his way, like the blue flags were waving or something. But yeah, just a simple drive-by, that one.
Yeah, the British driver not showing as strong as I would say today. I mean, making it into this grid is already super, super strong, so not taking that away from him. But there's obviously a skill difference currently between the drivers that we have in the top 5 and I would say the rest of the grid. Calandrino is a driver that should have been in the top 5, but after the crash early on in the race, lap 1, he's now chasing each and every one of the drivers in front, trying to move up the grid, and Jansen will be the next, but that will take a while actually. I mean, half an hour is through now, and his gap is 7.1 seconds, so he will definitely not do that the next 2 to 3 laps.
No, I'm looking at Tommy Rosieri, who's slowly gaining more time, isn't he? We saw him taking Robin Alves, not just a lap or 2 ago, already 10 seconds past him. And now closing down D'Amico Christian. I said it will take him a while last time I saw him because I saw it was a 17-second gap to Christian, but it's already down to just getting close to 6 seconds. He is on a mission. as well he should be. Obviously, he was running up in third place when he got that drive-through penalty. So gaining absolutely like a monster. 4 seconds a lap at the moment he is gaining. So within the next lap, he's going to be on the back of Christian.
Yeah, Domestic Christian not having a great race, similar to his countryman Robin Hurrick. He's in 12th and dropping down. Domestic Christian should have been a bit quicker. He was starting further up grid, but in the race now,
he's lapping at the same pace as Luke Addison and Benjamin Baumann at the moment. Ruggieri.
Yeah, Ruggieri, yeah, it's not
yeah,
Christian.
226 is the same as Addison and Baumann in third and fourth.
That's where he should be. Let's be real. Yeah. It's just not happening if you have a drive through, and then sometimes you have to live with it. Talking about we have to live with, and since we discussed a bit the traction control settings of our pro drivers in here today, currently Heikki Hütten is on 3 out of 8 in terms of TC. When we look at Jordan Sherritt, who's running TC1, so lowest setting that there is, and besides turning it off completely, and ABS 3. ABS 3 seems to be a common choice. But yeah, we got TC everything from 1 to 4 currently in the grid. On the grid. I think there's no one running higher than 4. That would just cut too much power. It's not true, actually. Andreas Johnson is running TC 5 out of 8. And ABS 7. So, I would say, just even from looking at the stats of how he set up his car, not really confident in the rain.
Yeah, I think we're probably seeing why he's down in 13th. I mean, he's a little bit struggling. And if you remember when Heikki Hütten passed Janssen, it was basically just a drive-by. It wasn't really, he didn't fight to sort of fight for that position.
Yeah, but even Lipin's TC6, ABS 6. So it's very interesting to see the differences here. Domestic Christian is running TC1, ABS 2, so similar to Tommy Ruggieri, who now switched to TC2.
Speaking of Ruggieri, he's now within a second. I mean, he was, 6.7 seconds behind a moment ago. He's within 1.8 already. We may as well stick with him because I think he's going to be taking over with him in the next couple of corners at the speed he seems to be going. Absolutely flying from the back. And it's still got a lot of ground to make. I mean, you look at it, obviously this gets past Christian here. Then he's got to get up to Lipins, who's a long way back, and then Lipins is way back off Orant as well, so still a long way to go. 1 hour 26 though, so we are slowly approaching the pit window where we expect people to start going in there around the hour mark to see who's going to be stopping, whether they're going to get the tires out there. I mean, look at the track. I mean, it's just wet. It's like an 80s band right now out there at the moment, and it's going to stay that way, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I don't expect this race to fully dry. Maybe we get a bit less rain and might form a dry line here and there, like we had on the previous race. By the way, Ruggieri now finally onto Domestic Christian. He's already flashing his lights.
Get out of the way.
And Ruggieri is just quick. Look at that. I mean, they're still side by side for Blanchimont, but Ruggieri is a ton quicker. Has to run a bit wide there. Don't get another cut, man. Don't get more drive-through penalties, because Ruggieri is one of these drivers, right? We see him being quick on nearly every single combination that we raced here in the Lamborghini The Real Race, but we also saw him multiple times not scoring as many points as his pace has suggested due to penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's been a little unfortunate. We saw him in the last two races having some fantastic battles with Bonacorsi, who unfortunately isn't in this race. But yeah, he's generally been fighting like first and second. If you think of the race that Bonacorsi won, it was Ruggieri that was right on his tailpipe. And again, for the last race, it was the second and third they were sort of scrapping for constantly. And they overtook each other multiple times in their scraps as well. It was very well worked out. If you remember, Ruggieri regained the position. I think it was by the... he went for the undercut, didn't he, on the pits? I think that's what gave him that time. But yeah, you already see Robin Lippens, just how far Lippens was as he came into the entry of Eau Rouge, I think it was, further back there. And now you can see it's just how close he's gaining already on him. And that was I think it was a 6-second gap when he's passed Christian. He's already 2 seconds ahead of Domenico Christian. That's just how fast he's carving his way through the back of the field. He's a wee bit sideways there, though. That's a good catch.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about racing in the wet, right? As soon as you feel too confident, it kind of tries to punish you for that and brings it back into reality. It's like, man, this is still hard to drive. Like, no matter how good you feel, how cool you think you are, it's still slippery out there, and you need to be on top of your game every single corner out there.
Yeah, it will punish you the moment you think you're comfortable and confident. Definitely some serious hard work, but it's great to see Razzieri now back into it, because he was a long way down after his drive-through penalty. I mean, it's always the danger, right? You get that drive-through penalty at the start on the first lap. It's probably the most punishing time because everybody's bunched together, and it's going to cost you probably the most time of all. But he took it straight away. I don't know if he has a limit to when he needed to take it. I guess he just thought, you know what, I'm just going to take it now and get it out of the way. If he has, does he have to take it within so many laps? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll see how many we still get, right? Like, it's 1 hour and 22. Well, I mean, it will definitely be on this for a while now.
How's Mr. Sherratt doing? The South African still holds the fastest lap, which is a 2:25.095. So, wow. The first man to get very close to getting that 2:24 marker. And still, I mean, he's actually, in terms of times and pace, even his last lap at 2:25.5 is far faster than Bouquet's. Even Bouquet's best lap of 2:25.6. So Sherratt has got his pace right now. Absolutely looking great. Back at Kumpo, obviously, you know, Kumpo, he has fell back a bit here. He was right on the back of Kurchuk at one point. Obviously, we saw him keeping the pressure down. And I was surprised that Kumpo didn't actually get past him when Kurchuk was making a lot of mistakes when Pangraves went past. But hasn't managed to work out for him. And you just saw in the background, actually, that does look like they're gaining. It's Gabba Sarosi and Heikki Hoitonen. It does look like they are gaining ground on these two drivers. Oh, Razzieri, he's going past Lippins, lots of flashing lights, but through he goes, and Tommy Razzieri gains himself another place, and now the long charge happens. He's got a long climb now, so he's got past the few back markers that had some real issues at the start, but now to get and chase down Robin Lippins, Mike Oren, is going to be a much longer task.
Mike Oren wasn't really quickly on the way the last lap, so
yeah, that's true.
So I think Razzieri can close this gap quite quickly.
Actually, has Oren made a big mistake? Because that was a 17-second gap. Oh, it is a 17-second gap. Okay, there we go. I was just a wee bit confused by the thing. I was thinking, I'm sure he's a long way ahead, but 17 seconds. I mean, even though he's gaining, well, let's have a look. What's the last laps compare? 2:26.1 to a 2:28.6. So yeah, gaining 2 seconds a lap. So he's going to nibble that time down very quickly over the next 10 minutes.
Definitely an interesting race that we get in Spa-Francorchamps here, and part of that is the rain. They're still out there and still intensifying over the next 30 minutes. So it seems like our driver's not getting a break. Jordan Sheriff leading right from the get-go. He started on pole, never lost it so far, and now build up a gap of 9.5 seconds going towards his first pit stop of the day. That's, by the way, the same for everyone who didn't saw any pit stops. And Lee, as you already suggested, it's probably around the 1 hour mark. Yeah,
I expect to sort of see him around there. I mean, the in-game pit window will be opening at, I think it's 1:05. It's either 1:10 or 1:05. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 1:05. It's normally like a 10-minute window, isn't it? But they actually can stop whenever they like. It's not sort of an enforced timing. It's just when the game will be in there. We'll just remove the penalty if that's the case. If they decide to stop really early or really late. We've seen sort of drivers differ. You know, when it's this wet, it really can depend on how your tires. I expect everybody, especially when in the wet like this, to take tires, take new tires, get those new grippy wets out there. Because obviously they're going to run down. but the track is certainly wet enough that, you know, they're probably one of the sturdier tyres out there, especially when it's this wet.
Yeah, it is definitely wet out there, and I'm just so surprised every time that Jordan Sheriff is not doing any mistake. Right, we saw one so far. He did one mistake in the race. It happened, but he's just so
Just the one.
consistent. And no matter the circumstances, and you know which track we're going for, even if it would go full dry now, and then he would search the slicks and we go full wet again, he would probably have everything under control, and it's just he's dominating this series.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the entire series, he's just been the man to beat, and you can see the fact that Bouquet has been putting decent times in. You know, 2:25.6 is his fastest, 2:25.7 was his last lap. So he's consistently staying up there, as well as Luke Addison, by the way, 2:25.7. But unfortunately, the last lap for Jordan Sherritt was a 2:25.1. So it's half a second a lap faster at the moment than second and third place. That's just how good he is doing right now out there. He doesn't need to do this pace. He could just sit and measure it. But you know what it's like as you're driving around. If you try and just sort of alleviate your pace, just slow down a little bit and just take it carefully, that's when you make the most mistakes. You know, obviously you don't want to be completely on the limit. You're not sort of sitting on the limit, but you've got to be careful. If you try and relax a little bit, that's when you start to make the mistakes. So he's got it. You know, he's keeping his pace going. He's running his own race, and obviously we've seen throughout the last sort of 9 races that we've had so far is just how good he is at keeping that consistency, because he is just pacing better than anybody else out there by a mile.
Yeah, definitely, and you said it absolutely correctly. It's that the worst thing that can happen is that you're not fully focused on it anymore, and in these conditions, you need to be fully focused. Racing in general, you need to be fully focused. And he does the right thing. It's just going all out, and that's it. If it works for him, fine.
Yeah, he's been fantastic so far, and he goes over the line. It is another 25.1. Wow. It consistently half a second faster than second and third. That's incredible timings. Incredible timings. I think we're going to see him lapping people towards the end of this race. There's no doubt about that. Quite a way up the field, I feel. It's all scary, by the way, when you go through there. Just how close you are to the wall going up there is relatively clean. Going up through Radion and around the No Name and down onto the Camel. Continues blasting on. So let's have a look further down the field. Kumpo and Kurchuk both closing in on Pangraves. But Gabasarosi also getting a lot closer along with Heikki Hoitonen. So this pack starting to slowly form here off the back of Pangraves. Remember Pangraves, we saw him taking over Kurchuk. Well, it was about 10 laps ago now, or maybe even more. But yeah, it does tend to be slowly forming a bit of a pack here.
Yeah, they're coming back together, which is interesting to see. Is obviously we've got bigger gaps now. That the race went on a bit further. Right, we got 45 minutes, so basically our sprint race distance from the normal races here in Lamborghini The Real Race are done. But we still have 1 hour and 15 minutes. So after they now spread, they will come back together, and then around the pit stops, we'll see if there might be changes due to their strategy.
Tommy Razzieri, I'm just keeping my eye on his timings at the moment. As you can see, 2:26.4 was his last lap. Just keeping in there. 2:26.1 has been his best so far. Jordan Sherritt, though, he's still blasting. He's still out there, and my UI really, really wants to show him today. So I am just going to completely remove that for now. Because I know we love the South African, but it's not that entertaining to watch all the way through. Kurchuk, though, has been entertaining because he's had a couple of outings off the track so far, and you can see he is being gained on here by Kumpo, and maybe as we approach that pit window, just thinking this is the time to try and make a move.
Yeah, but can he? That's the thing, right? You need to be capable of doing so.
Well, Sarosi certainly is capable, and he's getting closer and closer to Kumpo by the lap.
It's still the 5 seconds on him, though. Keep that in mind. It's still the 5 seconds that Gabasarosi has. in terms of a penalty. So
that's true, yes. Which is great for Heikki Hoitonen that's behind him, isn't it? Because he's been closing and closing. Let's have a look at some of the lap times. Okay, last lap time. So Pangraves at 27.3. Kuachuk at 27.7, so actually quite a bit slower there. Kumpo 26.9. So Kumpo almost a second faster on that last lap than Artur Kuachuk. That's a pretty big jump. No, sorry, that was his best actually. Tell a lie. That was, but no, he was. Yeah, 126.6 was his last lap that he just did. So Kumpo just with his new fastest lap there. So he is on a charge on the back of Kuachuk. So new fastest lap for Kumpo. We'll see whether he's got it in him, because now inside that second window, we'll see whether he can get close enough as to get towards the end of the camel. I'm not too sure he is.
Nah,
just
that will not
by
be
the
enough.
edge of Radion, he's got a lot to make up still.
Yeah, that was not enough. He might catch his bit of slipstream, but it will not enough to heavily decrease the gap here to Kuachuk. But race control sets that Garbo-Sharosi is coming close to Kumpo as well. So it seems like everyone behind Pangraves currently is upping their pace, upping the game here.
They both just did the fastest lap, like a 26.4 for Sarosi and a 26.9 for Heikki Hoitonen behind. So everyone almost popping in their best laps there. It's almost like they've just been G'd up effectively, seeing Kuachuk making a few mistakes.
Obviously, the cars get lighter in terms of the fuel, but that also means that tires are grading, but they're on wet, so wet is not as crazy in terms of the drop-off as the slicks are. And they're a bit more confident on the track, but rain also increased since we started, so yeah, I wonder where that pace is coming from, if it's just really the lighter car now, or what else is helping them now.
Well, at the moment, they are slowly gaining, and I feel it's going to come down to this pit window, which will be due upon us within the next 5 minutes. Calandrino actually also gaining time on Janssen. You were talking about Janssen's settings earlier. Calandrino now within 1.5 seconds of Janssen. So obviously Calandrino had that sort of crash earlier on. He finds himself 7 positions down from where he began. So we know he's a fast driver, but the question is, how much damage has he been carrying on that Lamborghini?
Yeah, it could be a fair bit, right, from what happened. And I see Kumpo now really being close to Kuachuk. Might be a chance for him once we got ready on, and then onto Camel Straight. Not into La Source, that's for sure. Pangraves, he will see all of this play out in his rearview mirror, and probably thinking like, oh, what can I do? It's like, I need to become a bit quicker, otherwise I will be stuck in this fight fairly soon.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously saw Pangraves getting by Kuachuk. It wasn't the cleanest of overtakes either, but Kumpo's been in this position before. He's been in much closer position than Kuachuk, and he still couldn't make it stick. So I do worry that he may well get caught in Kuachuk's defensive maneuvers, and Gabor Sarosi is going to get drawn right into this, because you can see he's getting closer and closer and closer. But here's Kumpo coming down the Camel, not going to be close enough into Lecombe, not even remotely. He just needs to keep on going, but Gabor Sarosi nibbling more and more time every lap. At the moment, he's been quicker than both the drivers ahead of him in that last lap. Kuachuk is, I don't know. I don't know whether he's just been caught napping or what. Either way, he's still doing the 127s when everybody else is behind him is doing 126s. 226s, sorry. 126 would be a very quick lap round the Spa. Maybe taking half the track is all you get out of it. But yeah, absolutely smashing the times down at the moment are the drivers behind them. As Kuachuk continues to chase, but it's Gabor Sarosi, the man that I'm interested in, as he gets closer and closer and closer. Speaking of getting closer, I can tell you Tommy Razzieri down to 10 seconds now behind Mike Oren. So that was, what, a 17-second gap, I think, when we last talked about it a couple of laps ago. So he's absolutely motoring at the moment, Razzieri, to see if he can get himself back within the points.
closing up to the 1 hour mark. And with that, probably the first pit stops here in the 2 hour race at Spa. Talking about that, Watcher just pulling into the pits. Wow, man, I'm on point today when it comes to strategy. Well, that's
the
very
exact
early
moment
pit
that
stop.
Kumpo was about to get him, right? He moved it within 0.4 of a second, and then, straight away in the pits. Okay, then, so this is it, right? This is the pit window. This is where we start to look. Who is the movers and shakers? Does it work out well for Kurshuk, who goes early? Or will it work for everyone that stays out as late as possible? Because, honestly, Kumpo and Sarosi are lapping a lot quicker right now. Andrino looking to try and get on. We did talk about him, how he'd gained onto Janssen. I was mentioning, obviously, you were talking about Janssen's settings. Seems to be carrying a lot of wing throughout this, as well as Calandrino trying to get on him. Calandrino, though, as we mentioned, 8 places down at the moment from the start after that accident on the first lap. So it wouldn't be too surprising to see Calandrino getting this job done as they blast down the Kemmel into Les Sources. It's not going to be the case this time, not close enough. And actually, that little maneuver put him quite a bit out of position there. A bit slidey into the first corner of Les Sources, but looks like it's going to only be a matter of time, this one. Sarosi now a second, actually within a second of Kumpo as well. So he is gaining quickly as well. I'm going to try and keep my eye on both of these. New fastest lap comes in from Jordan Sherratt, a 2:25.032. So very close now onto that. And Gabba Sarosi has got it done. Gabba Sarosi has got it done on Kumpo. So just as I was trying to keep my eye on Calandrino, it didn't look like he was close enough. Kumpo must have made an error going into the corner there. That's all I could think of, because when I saw it, it was looking like a 0.6 second gap. And suddenly, Sarosi has passed. So Kumpo must have made a mistake back there.
Yeah, like Gabo Sarosi is just really, really quick, and he will be furious that he has these 5 seconds onto him, but he's doing the best out of it so far. I'm just happy that Sarosi did not decide to go to the pits there. Bit afraid of what happen when we get the replay of it. See, on the break in here.
Oh, he's going to slide, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, on the switch over, like weight shifting. And then the rear just snapped a tiny bit and sent him wide in the next one.
Does me every time, that's for sure. that's what I'm the worst at catching. I just, every time I'm too heavy on the wheel and then get the rear end snap around on me. Janssen, though, under pressure still from Calandrino here. And this is looking like it's only a matter of time, isn't it? He's going to try for the switchback here. See if he can swing around on the inside. Janssen does a very good job of parking his car on the corner, though. But it does look like Calandrino. Yeah, I mean, Janssen's indicating he's pulling out of the way. He's like, yeah, I can't keep you by. You're a quicker driver. Let's Calandrino through. It's almost like it was, on a French motorway there, indicating to get out of the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like we looked it up previously, right? Jensen's current settings on the car in terms of ABS and TC suggest that he's not really someone racing a lot in the rain or feeling confident today. So, it is harder for him now. It's like it's kind of like turning on assists in simulation games, right? Which is, it's not the same. TC obviously works completely different to a normal TC assist in games. So ABS and TC as assist and as in-car settings are completely different things. But still, it hinders you using the full performance of the car, right? It does so in the lower settings. This will work very, very well as the car is mostly a ton better than what you can do in terms of setting it up for the corner the right way with the traction that's available. But with the high settings that he's currently running, he's really playing it safe massively, and you see that in the pace difference.
Tommy Arazieri now in within 4 seconds, according to my readout. 5 seconds it says on the in-game readout at the moment, but absolutely motoring out there. But with the pit window open now, he had a drive-through penalty. obviously didn't pit there. Benjamin Baumann has come into the pit. So that was 4th place. Benjamin Baumann now into the pits. That's going to be a real litmus test to figure out where and when everybody will come out after the first pit stop, as the Swiss driver takes, certainly from the first front runners, the opportunity to go for the pits. But as we've discussed many times for Spa, it is probably the longest pit stop out of the majority of tracks, because this exit is enormous coming out of the pits, because you have to go around right round the side, obviously a Rouge, Radion, everything that goes around there. You've got to go all the way on the exit, and you come out just before sort of no name. It's bonkers really how long it is and how frustrating it is to be driving along.
No, it's like the first part of the pit stops go down to La Source. You're coming around there, and then you bite. This where he is now is a Rouge, right? So he has to go up the hill, and it's not no name they come out. It's a Radiol they exit.
Is it the end?
Yeah. No name is the left-hander 90-degree kink after.
Yes.
Like basically where Kumpu is now. So Kumpu is in the right-hander 180 degrees, and it's like no name to the left of it, but Christian Damasco is not looking too good in terms of his front end of that Lamborghini Huracán GT3, as Alves makes the pass here. And we see Christian immediately pulling into the pits as well, so it is
that's
one
the
out,
classic, right? You just get taken. I mean, like, I meant to pit this lap anyway. It's like, it doesn't matter if I got took over. I meant to pit.
Yeah, it's like it only happened due to that.
Yeah. So where's Baumann going to come out? So he comes out in 14th, just behind Lippens, who's just
15th.
come out there. So comes out down in 15th position overall. So that's obviously he was running in 4th position? Yes, 4th position. So should sort of come out similar position, obviously, when Sherritt, Bouquet, Addison, Fazekas all decide to come into the pits. We'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, it's like we know that some of the drivers tend to drive really long. I think even it was Jordan Sherritt that one endurance race really went for 1.5 hours or more, if I remember correctly. It is doable, and especially in these conditions, they're obviously not as flat out as they would be in the dry. So also using a bit less fuel.
I think it was O'Hara, maybe. It was in the Suzuka race, right?
Yeah,
Someone
could be.
went really, really long. Sorry. I feel like it was Andrew O'Hara, who's actually the leader over in the APAC region right now. Compo up into 7th at the moment, obviously with the pit stops now in. As Gabor Sorosi's gone into the pits, Christian's still in the pits. You can see Benjamin Baumann and Janssen already taking their stops. Easy to tell who's taking a stop. There's a P there, and there's a little green marker there. Or a 1 there, I should say, not a P. As they do go into the pits. And, the pit window.
By the way, Baumann's
marker.
attacking Lippens. They nearly came together there. I think there was no real contact, but Baumann now passed Lippens, so he's up to 14th. But that was a really close call there. I think both went really on the same page on that maneuver. Luckily, no one ended up in the wall. It's good as we're approaching the last hour of the race.
Always the danger when it's a much faster driver like Benjamin Baumann, who's running in 4th, and obviously now after the pit stops comes out down into the back markers. But Razzieri now onto Mike Oren. Razzieri still yet to take his pit stop, but you can see he's gained up. That was a 17-second gap within 10 minutes. He's carved that completely, and he's got himself right on the back of Mike Oren now. As Sorosi sits and waits in the pit still to come out there. And it's so painful when you're in there. It takes so long. But Razzieri doing a fantastic job, and he should be able to get this done on Mike Oren, I think, within a lap. Not even going to say lap or 2. I'm going to say within a lap. Maybe within a few corners by the looks of it. Yeah, he's done already. Okay. Mike being the man and getting out of the way for him.
Yeah, Razzieri is on a run, right? Like that man got a mission. That's for sure. And second position, Bouquet, who was charging up to John Sherritt the entire time, but couldn't really keep up with the pace of the South African mastermind behind the wheel of his Lamborghini. But at least he gets his pit stop out of the way. And then he can race to the finish line without having to worry about any of that. Fazekas also in. Barbarian, yeah, right behind. So we will see more and more pit stops being done now. The halfway point mark is through.
Jordan Sherritt's still not pitting, and in all truth, he often does go long until the very last minute on the pit window. It tends to be how Jordan's drove it in the past, and I expect him to probably be doing that again. So maybe another few minutes before he decides to take the option to come into the pits.
Jordan, I think Jordan will stay as long as possible. There's absolutely no reason for him to do anything else unless he runs into traffic now.
Has he done a 124 yet? No, not yet. Not yet. He's
Shame on you, Jordan Sherritt.
Shame on you. It's almost certainly going to be done. I'm getting a cat headbutt in the microphone. I'd be interested to know what noise that makes. Thank you.
What?
He likes to rub his head on the microphone. It's become his thing.
We're talking about cats, by the way, just in case anyone out there.
He just came up, headbutted my microphone twice, and walked off. It's like, all right, okay, cheers, mate. That's
he wants
my
to be on the broadcast. Everyone wants to be on Lamborghini The Real Race. I totally understand that, and I appreciate the support by the cat world for our championship.
Oh, Jordan's coming in. That's
early?
An early one.
That's early for Jordan Sherritt, unless it's really not. Oh no, he ran into traffic. Look, Alves was there.
Alves there, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he
Who
saw
annoyingly came in the pits at the same time, I think. So it's probably like, Yeah,
I think he came in to avoid traffic, maybe.
Oh, Heikki Hoitonen has caught up with Kumpo. Look at that. So we were talking about Kumpo earlier on. We saw Gabasarossi get in and past him. But yeah, Heikki Hoitonen has now caught right up as well. So within a second of him, and certainly within taking over chances. But both of them do need to pit, so we'll probably expect to see them going in the pits. And speaking of pits, the drivers are starting to come out. Now you can see Bouquet, Baumann, Fazekas back in position. How close was Bouquet and Baumann? That's the question. Obviously, they were quite far apart before they pitted, because Bouquet was running in second, Baumann was running down in fourth. So we expect Luke Addison, when he does go in the pits, and he does look like he's just coming in now. Yes, so he is in the pits. He should slot in between these two drivers.
Yeah, we'll see. I highly doubt that much will change. We heard that Heikki is predicted to come out in P9. Let's see if that is correct. It gets quite busy in the pit lane currently.
That would be, if he does come out P9, he would have taken Gabasarossi in the pits. I'll be surprised.
Yeah, Gabasarossi had a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, oh, that's very true. That is very true. I forgot about that 5-second penalty he had to carry through there. So Jordan Sherritt on his way out of the pits at the moment. So I believe, yeah. So he's just coming out, the race leader. And you know what? He's going to come out as the race leader because everybody else around him had already pitted. And he's come out in clean air. So he's off again. Let's see if he can break the 125 marker that everybody's been sort of sitting around at the moment. Should be able to do that. Out he goes. Let's have a look down the field. Janssen and Mike Orant very close to each other. Razzieri has already gone past Janssen. So not too surprising there, as Razzieri continues his charge back through the field.
Yeah, it's like I doubt that Janssen has a chance to catch up to Razzieri again. Razzieri got his pit stop out of the way as well, so it's just a Kowalczyk that's currently still having to pit. No, you pitted super early. You pitted in front of the window.
Razzieri, yes, he's pitted.
No, not Razzieri, not Razzieri. Kowalczyk. Arthur Kowalczyk, 11th. He pitted before the window opened, which is totally fine here. Just so that everyone out there knows. So that's okay. Let's see where Mr. What I'm looking for there, Sharossi. There's Hüttinen, and Hüttinen comes out behind Gabasarossi.
No, he's ahead. He's ahead.
No,
he's not. You're right. You're right. He has actually come up behind him. I mean, he was behind him before, but as you said, that's been a 5-second penalty for Sharossi. So, Hoytonen going a lot longer, yet Kumpo is ahead. So Compo's managed to stay ahead. So Compo either, I got to assume, didn't take tyres, because Compo and Häkkinen came in right together. So either Heikki's had a really, really bad first exit lap.
Let's have a look real
possibly
quick.
not taking tyres.
Compo took 32.4 seconds. And we had 37.8 seconds on Shirosi. And Heikki sits on 36.4, so he was a second quicker nearly than Heikki, but Heikki had a 5-second penalty. So even with the Shirosi, yeah. So even with the 5-second penalty, Shirosi would have been as quick as Nico Kumpo. So, and there have been people as quick as Kumpo, like Benjamin Baumann, for example, 32.8. So I don't see a real difference here. The only ones that drop out in terms of pit times is Arthur Warchuk, 51 seconds. That was a very long stop. And 40 seconds for Rafael Alves and 55 seconds for Domescu Christian.
Repairing damage, I guess, probably, most likely.
Yeah, must have been.
So does that mean that Calandrino didn't have it? I mean, if Kuchuk, it still says he didn't have his pit stop, but obviously we know he has. It's just a case of not being recorded in the system, so that's not going to be a penalty for that. Speaking of which, Kuchuk runs pretty wide there, actually, on the exit there. Gabasarossi, he's got to get it done again, hasn't he? So he's got to get past Compo again. So Compo has done him there. So Sarosi, obviously with the 5 seconds, it was kind of expected that Compo would regain that position back. But yeah, Sarosi, we know he's done it once on Compo. We expect him to do it again. He's already gaining time on him.
Yeah, it's like he will definitely close the gap, I'm sure, in still 51 minutes. So a long time to defend, especially if you know that there are no pit stops saving you anymore. There's no strategy differences. Now everyone is just racing until the checkered flag. No other way. Same, by the way, for Jordan Sherrod, who's now sitting at 17 seconds of a gap.
Tommy Razzieri, I mean, the next driver for him is Calandrino, who's actually pretty quick, in fairness, but is still over a second a lap faster as Tommy Razzieri, so he's still carving down the times. The question is, can he break his way into the top 10? Let's see what he's got to get past. He's got to get past Calandrino, Robin Hurig, Kuchuk, and Heikki. So that's a big ask, I would say. But he is still lapping faster than them all, apart from Kuchuk. Kuchuk's last lap of 226.7. So a fast lap just a moment ago, answering very much to the pressure of Heikki and Gabasarossi ahead of him. So he's
Kwarchuk, by the way, went into the green. Lost a bit of the rear there. Had a quick trip for picnic. I think he did not hit anything though.
Oh, Calandrino's spun. That's a very unhappy looking front end of that Lamborghini as well. So I'm pretty sure Razzieri, yep, he's going to drive on past as Calandrino's parked on the side of the road there, letting everybody else come by. There goes Mike Orant, and then he's going to try and rejoin. Oh my God, he's trying to rejoin the track.
Oh!
Yeah, it's not a very happy car at all.
No, like the car is heavily damaged in that return on track. That was kind of dangerous. Luckily, there was no one else.
He just can't keep a hold of it now. It's a mess. It's a mess. That's going to be retiree. I think he's just going to try and bump his way around to the pits. That car, yeah, that front wheel doesn't look like it's very happy at all.
No, it's like we see that the front end is heavily damaged. It's not straight anymore, and it just doesn't really help the aerodynamic of the car nor the handling.
Yeah, he's just going to pull it up and retire that one. So unfortunate for Calandrino. Wasn't the greatest start for him overall. Either was it with that accident right at the start, giving him damage, and he's been trying to fight it back, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. Let's just have a look at a replay of how it happened. I guess it's just going to be a back end being lost as he comes around. Did he get too much on the grass? I think he just clipped the curb, didn't he? Yeah, it's just too. It's on the
AstroTurf.
Not the AstroTurf, the curb, the the runoff. What's it called? The slippy bit.
That's the AstroTurf.
Was it the AstroTurf?
Yeah,
that's
that's this green thing you see on the left behind the curves.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was AstroTurf he hit. I thought it was just the curbstone. He's just lost the back end on the curbstones. Either way, he's gone. He's gone.
And that's true. And
Ruggieri
spins
lost it.
out.
Oh,
That's
no.
the top running. Oh my God, Ruggieri, you had a great comeback so far. Does the track get a lot wetter now? Is that why we see all of a sudden more and more spins and crashes? Or is it because people swapped the tires out, and now on the new set, it doesn't feel like it did prior to that?
The times have come down a little. I mean, Jordan Sherritt himself has done a 2:26.5, so I mean that's still a very quick lap. But I don't know whether whether it suggests it or whether just a little lax of concentration. I mean, we are over an hour in now. These guys have been at it, sat in their chairs, fighting their direct drive wheels. So. Just a little lax of concentration there for Tommy, but that's lost all the time that he made up, hasn't it? Everything's just slipped away from him. He'd already got past Orens and Janssen. He's got to do it all again now.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about a bit earlier today. I mean, nearly an hour ago now. Tommy Ruggieri, great pace. If you just look at his laps, he should always be in the top 5. He should probably always be in the top 3, but something always happens to him, and he's inconsistent with keeping the car alive or himself out of trouble and penalties.
I don't think that's that fair. I mean, he has been, second and third for the last 3 races, I think.
But he also, there were races where he had penalties and he had to return.
Maybe you're thinking of Tavanari. Tavanari definitely had that problem, I would say. He was always had the pace, but always had problems. I don't think it's so fair for him. Speaking of someone that isn't having problems today, who normally does, Gabba Sarossi. He is on it right now and on the back of Kumpo. Heikki Hoitonen also closing down, and this is a move that he might try and get stick. I don't think Kumpo's going to fall for that simple mind trick there, Sarossi. You're going to have to work it a little bit harder this time around, unless Kumpo makes an error.
That will be interesting now. It's like, it will be harder now to focus and stay concentrated. I'm just waiting to see what will happen now.
Well, I mean, if you remember, obviously before, he had that 5-second penalty in the pit stops. He's done it before, so he's already taken over Kumpo once today. Should be able to do it again, and maybe he's just got to think back, okay, where was Kumpo making the mistakes last time around? Well, it was obviously when Kuachuk was ahead of him at the time, and they were sort of chasing Kuachuk down. Kuachuk himself had a very long pit stop, which is why he's now down in 11th behind Sarossi and Heikki Hoitonen, who is closing in on this pack. So if Gabba doesn't get this done quickly, he's suddenly going to find that green Lamborghini closing him down very quickly and looking to try and make a move of his own.
Yeah, Kumpo will feel the pressure from Gabba Sarossi, that's for sure. And now Sarossi is without that 5-second penalty, so he knows every single position he can make up now really counts toward his result. I mean, unless he gets another penalty somewhere, but normally that should be the case.
Let's have a look at some of the gaps further up the field. Benjamin Baumann just 6 seconds behind Luke Addison now. Fazekas 8 seconds behind him in 5th place. Barbieri, we really haven't seen much of Barbieri, have we? It's been a quiet one for him. He's been doing his job quietly in 6th place. Hasn't really been pressured, but hasn't been putting the pressure on Fazekas either. So just sort of going about his business. But Gabba Sarossi, really needs to try and get it done here on Kumpo, because he is now being backed up slowly but surely as Heikki Hoitonen gains the ground.
Like we just heard that from Race Control, they're trying to give us a few trivia facts. What will happen? And Jordan Sherritt is currently working towards, let's call it a safety plan for now, as we see Gabba Sarossi trying around the outside of Kumpo into Lecombe, but that did not work. But what Richmond found out is that even if Jordan Sherritt would get a stop-and-goal penalty with 30 seconds so far,
The maximum.
he would probably come out in P11. Means if he's just keep going a bit, he can make sure that he's still well within the top 10, even if the worst happens. I mean, the worst would be a DNF, but...
Still pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's just great.
Actually, Benjamin Bauman with a 2:26.043. So Benjamin Bauman almost in the 2:25s there. But speaking of, I mean, obviously their best times have been the low 2:25s. So I do suggest it is a lot wetter out there at the moment. Obviously, times are definitely causing problems. Kuchuk actually coming into the pits as well. So I wonder if he's carrying a problem.
Oh.
Okay. He teleported to the
Yeah,
pit.
so
It's
that
got new
means...
technology in that Lamborghini. I didn't realize that was the new option for the car.
Well, that's, by the way, part of the 2022 EVO 2. But I think he DNF'd. Let's see. Get a replay from race control.
At the moment, it's Sarosi. Sarosi on the back of Compo and putting some good work in, but still unable to get past him. Let's have a look. Is he just going to bin it?
Yeah, let's see. That's no-name corner again. Over the inside curb and then onto the AstroTurf.
Oh, dear.
And off he goes. Oh, wow. That was a big hit.
Yeah, you saw that coming.
Similar
didn't you?
to Colandrino.
Yeah, very, very similar. So, yeah, that's why he's done. He's gone. He's out of there.
It's just missing, like, we should go around the track and just put these typical signs up in the company buildings, you know, like slippery when wet.
Do not cut.
That's rally, but slippery when wet, and we just put that everywhere where there's AstroTurf, because AstroTurf is not your friend.
No,
Keep
not
that in
in
mind.
the wet. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not a great friend in the dry, but definitely not a friend in the wet here.
Shirosi is still right behind Kompu, and going down the straight now. Oh, Kompu, he's a bit moving. I'm not quite sure if that's already moving under braking, but I'd say is edgy. I'll call it for now. But it's also Garbo Shirosi not really committing to any site that he wants to.
They're losing around about half a second a lap to Heikki Hoitonen at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
will
he
run
is
right into
gaining
him.
on them. Yeah, is because this battle is starting to ensue. Times are definitely slowing down though at the moment. So
It just
they're
gets
struggling
wetter.
in the wet. Yeah,
Yeah, and we get another incident. That is Damascus Christian. Let's see. Yep, that is up a Rouge. Lost the rear there already.
Scary moment to lose it, that one.
Yeah, rear hit. Wing is still on. That's good. Someone just cutting the track there. Well, that's a high speed smash right there. And it seems like with the increasing rate, because you see it like top right of your screen, 30 minutes. It still
there is
has a
Christian
plus.
off the track again there. Yeah, still struggling it seems.
It's like rain just gets heavier and heavier, and then seems like our drivers are struggling.
Yeah, so Rossi not finding the opportunity to get past Compo here, is he? He's actually backed off a little bit after making that mistake, and well, Heikki is getting closer and closer and closer. He keeps gaining. You see, keep seeing that little flash of the green Lamborghini in the background as it slowly gains the ground. Let's have a look across the timings to see if anybody else is struggling with this one. Jordan Sherritt is still in the 225s at the moment. Everybody else 226s down into Fazekas. Fazekas 227.7, Barbieri 227.4. Pangrave just did a 229 a moment ago, but he's just on a 227.5 actually. So answering a little bit to maybe the pressure from Compo and Sarosi behind here.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, how much of a slower lap that is. Sorry, 228s coming out from Compo and Sarosi this time, whereas a 227.3 for Heikki. So Heikki is going to be on these guys very shortly. You can see him right there, he's gaining.
Yeah, but we also only have 40 minutes, and Shirosi, I think, soon should have a chance to launch an attack at Kompu. But every single lap I say that, and every single time they come up to Camel Straight, Shirosi is not in a position. It seems like Kompu's exit of Rodeo is just really, really good.
Yeah, he does. He's not close enough again. I mean, he's not in the position to once again make that move. But as you say, 40 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time. Doesn't want to sort of lose it. But yeah, in terms of sector times, he is quicker in the first and last, but it's the middle, and then the middle's one of the quickest sections. So that's why I think that's why we're seeing him sort of getting within 0.3 of a second, and then failing to get the move stick.
Yeah, this will be a fight going on a bit longer, that's for sure, but that's why we love endurance racing, right? They can't run away from this fight now. They want to make a move. It has to happen here. But with 38 minutes, it's at least enough time to really try to strategize. Like, read your opponent, where the weakness is, where I'm stronger, where's my setup better, and then hopefully execute the move well.
He's all over him at the moment, so this may be a real chance here. As Kumpo did run a little bit wide, trying to get as much corner as he could. Definitely looking, it is looking wetter now, isn't it? It's physically looking wetter on the screens. You see it starting to see some of those standing puddles that they are so cautiously avoiding. Sarosi trying to get as much exit as he could there to try and go faster onto Kumpo, but Kumpo doing a great job at keeping him at bay. We'll see how much time they are losing, though, as they continue this battle. They go through Les Saux and now over the line. Still, sorry, up to Les Saux, actually. They're going over the line. That's the line for the other cars. There's Les Saux. I was just getting ahead of myself. And, okay, I want to see the gap difference now between themselves and Heikki as they approach and blast over the line. I think 127.7s is actually what we're looking at. So I think they actually managed to settle each other. But look how far back Sarosi is now. Again, not within biting distance. As soon as they sort of reach, whether he's is it out of the source? He's having a bad exit. Like he doesn't seem to be in a position. Once they get to the Camel, he's not close enough again.
Yeah, it's like Kumpo does a great job basically since after the chicane into Les Saux and then Rouge Radio, he's just really quick there, and Garba-Sharosi's not capable of getting into a position where he could strike at the end of Camel, and that might be because he's always closing during Blanchimont into the chicane, and then he's too close already to really maintain speed and momentum.
Well, we don't quite have the digital readout that you might see in Formula 1, but we do have race control telling us within 9 minutes Heikki is going to be involved in this fight. It's looking like he might be closer, actually, because he visibly is closer on the screens right now as he continues to gain down to 2.2 seconds now. That was 3 seconds a lap ago, so he continues to really carve out some time. Speaking of times, Jordan Sterrell's still doing 126.0s. Let's have a little look at him. There he is. He's at the front. Let's have a look further down the field, because we haven't really had a look down the field as they continue to try and drive around. Bouquet, by the way, we barely showed Albon Bouquet, have we?
Yeah, but he did a great race so far. It's a quiet one, but he's doing his job.
He's left Addison behind, who was hoping that they could get a 1-2 today, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be happening. A 1-3, I think they'll be fine. They're both still on the podium as Luke Addison does work his way through. Luke's been having a great drive. Obviously, we saw him taking over Benjamin Baumann earlier on in this race, and ever since then, obviously, we've had pit stops, etc., but he's done a very good job at leaving Baumann and Fazekas behind. Remember that they were having a 3-car race at one point. Carlo Barbieri, we've barely seen him. I think I've had the camera on him about 2 or 3 times max throughout this entire race, but he's been going about his business and doing a great job. Now, up to Florent Pangraves, he has been putting some work in. We saw him taking over Kumpo earlier on, also managed to get past Kurucu earlier on as well, Kuruc, I should say, who is now obviously a DNF, and now it takes us down to the battle that is at hand. The battle for, well, the 8th, 9th, and 10th at the moment, because I am going to bring Heikki into this one as Kumpo, Garba-Sharossi, and Heikki Hoytinen all battle. And Hoytinen's been doing a great job, by the way, working his way up the field. Position gains 4, but we know he's done more than that because he was involved in that accident very early on. So he's had to actually take past. I mean, we've seen him taking over Alves, Lippins, Oren, Janssen, and Huring. So Heikki Hoytinen, you know, he's been very active, even though he's still sitting in 10th place.
We're approaching the last half an hour to our Spa race. This is Lamborghini The Real Race, the 9th race of the season. Which means there's only one race still to come. This is the EMEA region that you have on your screens right now. And then next time, the big grand finale, basically, the 10th race, will bring you the action across all 3 regions. So 3 different grids racing at Misano is one of the biggest events you can watch. Really, really cool. Ton of racing action. A lot of overtaking. I can promise you that. And you see that here with a great race once again in Spa. In our endurance format, so no sprint racing, no main race. Misano will be the old format again, so it will be sprint and main race. And this is one of 3 endurance races with a 2-hour distance. Compu running a bit wide. Garba still trying to find that spot, find the edge, basically. This lap time over Compu. Finally launch an attack and move up to 8th position. But so far, I couldn't really find anything.
Yeah, he's been here for, I would say, the best part of 10 laps, hasn't he? Since the pit stops, basically. Gained up on Compo, but just been unable to make the move and make it stick, and it's, well, it may cost him. You can see Heikki, just how close he is now. He's right there, right on the screen. Every time we see a remotely long straight, we see him in the distance as he continues to close. Round they go, and this is where Compo has been losing him around the source and then blasting it up the hill. Whether he's got something slightly tweaked that he gets better acceleration, you know, or maybe hitting that max speed a little bit better, but just staying a little bit more ballsy through Radion there as we see them blasting through. And I looked a little bit unorthodox as he came through on that camera angle, but I think that's just more the TV angle than anything else. But every time, Sarosi just not close enough, and I think that's probably frustrating him now at this point as they once again come into Le Combe and not in an angle. Oh, but that was a mistake by Compo. That was a bit of a mistake by Compo. Took a bit too much curb, and that's brought Sarosi right onto his bumper.
Yeah, they definitely brought Garba a ton closer. Was already looking up the inside, showed himself in the rear view mirror. Compo was a bit slow there on the apex, and Garba had to watch out, not bombing into the rear. Beautiful Huracán right in front, but now pressure's really on.
Absolutely. That was the first real error we've seen from Compo in the last few laps, actually. He's done a very good job at defending, but yeah, an error caused. That was this corner that they took over on last time where Compo went wide and Sarosi made it look easy going up the inside. No mistakes this time, but the rain keeps on pouring here in Belgium. But Sarosi, oh, is he going to be enough? He's up the inside. He's not going to be on the racing line here, though, but Compo's going to hold him out, and oh, it's just going to squeeze him. Got the elbows out there, but this is bringing Heikki Hoitzinen closer and closer as now they really battle on the track.
Yeah, Compo's now obviously losing a ton of time with that 5 Sarosi going side by side through corners. It's not the quickest way of doing it, and that will bring Heikki Hoitzinen back into this fight, and that will be a nice 3-way battle for the last minutes of the race. Talking about battles that we might see in the near future, Tommy Ruggeri is coming closer to Mike Orent in 13th, and Mike Orent is also gaining on Jensen. That is on 12, so it's 12 to 14. Another 3-way battle that we will probably see towards the end of this race. So once again, it works out absolutely great for us in terms of commentary and what we will see on the screens. As this finish will not be boring.
Yeah, Mike Orent will probably be like, oh, you're back again, are you? You want to go off the track this time, Tommy? Has taken it once already, of course. Heikki Hoitzinen, though, 2.2 seconds now away from Gabor Sarosi. You can see them up in front of him. He's been watching them battle throughout at the moment. I think I was just my camera for a moment there. I thought I saw Sarosi going off the track, but he's, again, look, you can see, just visibly not close enough to Compo at the end of the Kemmel Straight. And that's the story. That's where he's really been struggling. Just not being able to put it together. But Compo, he made mistakes here last time, and that's what Sarosi's doing. You can see he's trying to keep and apply the pressure, looking to go for the inside here. And I think he might be able to make it stick. He's kind of thrown the anchor out there, but it does look like it's made it work at last. And now it's based on the mistake that Compo made the lap before. Heikki Hoitonen right up on them as well, as he's now gained, wow, he gained over a second in that battle there, Heikki Hoitonen. So Compo, he needs to keep his composure, because he is going to be in the danger zone for the Finnish driver. Be coming up behind them. Gavasarossi, it's took him a lot longer to get that move done than it did the first time around. The first time around, it was a pretty smooth move overall, but a fantastic overtake in the end from Gavasarossi. It took him a long time to work out, but does get it done. Compo once again a little bit wide there. Heikkinen right on him. Let's have a look at the replay of this though from the rear wing of Compo here. You can see just a little twitchy there, and Sarossi saw his moment.
Yeah, it's great how Sarossi was reading that and then realized, wait, I can actually get alongside. A bit sketchy on that part, right? There's a bit of a contact between those two. It's obviously slippery up the inside, and it was hard for Sarossi to keep the line there, but it was fair and square, I would say. And yeah, it's the tiniest mistake that can cost you a position in this grid. It's a good grid. It's an awesome skill set from the drivers, and I love to see that. Love this, like, one little gap that opens, one little chance, might be the only one till the end of the race, and Gabasarossi immediately went for it, and it worked out.
Tommy Razzieri is now on the back of Mike Orant, slowly closing him down, but you can see obviously that car took a bit of punishment in the off that Razzieri had. Not been a great race for him, unfortunately. Got the drive-through right at the start of the race, and then gets himself, well, takes himself off the track, doesn't he, in the end there. So Razzieri, yeah, he's still got a bit of work to do here. One for Tommy to forget, unfortunately, who's been done very well throughout the last couple of laps, last couple of races, sorry, for Razzieri. Has been very, very successful. He's been on the podium multiple times throughout this championship. Compo, though, look at this. He's actually gaining back on Sarossi. So Sarossi not able to shake him yet. And now Heikki Hoitonen within 1.5 seconds behind him is going to get dragged into this one. So Gabasarossi, I got a feel that he maybe just made an error. Or is it simply a case of where Compo is quicker once again on that Kemmel, etc., and up through Origin Radion? It does seem that Compo seems to have a better line or better angle, better whatever he's got in his settings. Seems to make him a lot quicker through there than Sarossi. So Sarossi unable to shake him.
Yeah, but can Compo really launch attack? That's the other question, because I don't see him being... He's quicker on the crucial part of the track, so yes, he might have a chance to Kemmel, but can Sarossi maybe spread the gap already enough on the previous part of the track where he seems to be stronger? It's all about finding out what's more important now on these laps here in the pouring rain still. It's just increasing and increasing in terms of the wetness and in terms of the rain itself. So every single lap they come around a corner now, they're not 100% sure if they will have enough grip and enough traction.
Yeah. You see Compo just looking up the inside and maybe trying to take a better line there on Sarossi. Sarossi was trying to play it a little bit more cautiously. He does seem to be a little offline. And you see how much Compo gained on him there. Straight on the back now as they approach Les Sources, and this is where we know Compo can be faster, so this is a real problem for Sarossi. You can see Compo just flashing and a little look inside to see whether he can catch him on the exit, because if he's on the back of him going into the Kemmel, this might be a real problem for Sarossi.
Yes, he's definitely close enough now. Just question in the dirty air now, going through Russian radio. Oh, he's already looking up the inside. You don't want to do that, but you might want to. You might just wanted to get out of the dirty air. Because he wants slipstream, yes, but he wants it right here. He wants to be as close as possible after Radio and then take all the slipstream down Kemmel straight, but I think he was too far away already, and if that might be putting the ball back to Gabasarossi, because now he has half a lap once again to shake off Compo.
Yeah, Nico Compo still got a lot of work to do here, it seems. It did look like he had a much better approach, though, so I thought it was... especially coming out of Les Sources, it looked like he may be able to get it done, but it wasn't quite the case, though. But the two Finns look like they're going to be battling out. That is Compo and Heikki Hoitonen, as Heikki getting much, much closer now. 39 laps in so far. Let's have a quick look at Jordan Sherritt as he's about to go over the line. That's just how far ahead he is of everyone else. And obviously, we're looking at the battle of, what, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Oh, no! Oh, no! A 5-second penalty for Gabo Rossi.
Again!
Oh, and he's got off the track! He's got off the track! He's spinning! What has happened there? Disaster strikes. And both Campo and Heikki Hoitonen will go through.
Now that's horrible, to be honest. That's really horrible. Gabo Rossi, who was fighting the entire time, he put on a good race for us here. And then he gets another 5-second penalty. I wonder if that was for cutting. And then he also throws away his car. Oh, man, it's basically as depressing as the rain out there. It's like, it fits quite well.
I want to look at the replay and see if it's sort of at the exact moment the 5-second penalty kicks in. I don't want to know if it's one of those classic cases of he just got told the penalty, completely loses his braking point. I think he's just going. Yeah, I think he's just going. Yeah, he got on the curbstone, didn't he? Just the rear touched the curb, I think, and just lost it. Yep. I mean, he caught it well, but yeah, unfortunately, when you're running at this pace, you're going to lose positions when you lose a spin like that. Razzieri looking like he's about to get it done.
That's Ruggieri and Orent. I thought Orent might run into Jensen first, but nope, it's Ruggieri starting his second comeback of this race. And take down Mike Orent quite easily. And with 22 minutes still on the clock, you probably also get to Jensen. And behind them, that's the car of Jordan Sherritt, the current leader. 39 laps let so far. That's the entirety of the race. Orent was a bit off there. Quite sure where he wants to go. But yeah, Jordan Sherritt will start lapping these guys.
Yeah, he's already got past Alves, Christian, and Lippens. Obviously, Christian's been in the pits for the last God knows how long. Obviously, the flag's going to be going. Yeah, Orent's going to very much get out the way of Jordan Sherritt, not having any of that. And he is parking himself well out of position here into the source. So, yeah, Jordan Sherritt lapping his way through now up into, or chasing down Tommy Razzieri. Not something Tommy would be hoping he would see, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like getting lapped in such a race. Never a good feeling, right? But what do you want to do? Jordan Sherritt is just lightning quick.
Well, the two Finns, flying Finns at the moment in 8th and 9th, Heikki Hoitonen and Nico Campo. We said Hoitonen was going to be within him on the 9-minute mark, and it's around about that, it seems. But obviously, there's no Gabo Rossi ahead of them, so 8th place is back up for grabs for Heikki here, which would be great for him because he has made some fantastic strides in this race so far.
Heading on to a compo now. Gabo Rossi out of the way, and still the 5-second penalty. It's now on to Heikki.
Oof.
And a chance for 8th position. Compo went a bit wide there, but not really losing too much for Heikki. But if Heikki can keep that going, and it's the usual strategy, if he can keep that close on the top of Radio, then there might be a chance for it.
Yes. See, so this is where Campo would ordinarily shake Gabo Rossi, but I don't think Heikki is falling for it. I think he's certainly quick enough at the moment, judging by how this has been going, which will put him in a great position if he can stay within touching distance. Maybe at the end of the camel. I don't think he's going to be close enough, judging by the gap right now. There's still just, what, 0.5 between them, so yeah, it's he's not going to be close enough. Needs to be looking like 0.3, 0.2 to even have a close at getting a chance at getting close enough. But definitely gain ground, lap after lap.
It definitely is. I mean, there's nowhere way around this, right?
Ruggieri
on Jensen. Ooh, that was tight here, right in that chicane. But Jensen
the saws, don't get
able to hold on. But Ruggieri on the outside. He's not having the drive. Look at that. He was missing a bit of speed there, the straight, but might does it around the outside now if he can get the traction, and he does so. Yeah, I've got a good run out of Lassource, and John Sherritt sneaking through as well. Quite busy there. Ruggieri against Jordan Sherritt. Not for the lead, though.
Yeah, it's unusual, right? Normally Ruggieri running in second place, but yeah, he's going to just get out of the way for Sherritt down the Kemmel Straight and lets him through. So where's the Heikki battle? Well, he's still within half a second. Still got a lot of work to do. 18 minutes on the clock here in this endurance race. Just the 2-hour endurance race here at Spa. And at the moment we've seen, well, quite a lot of action throughout it. Certainly action-packed within the first lap. We saw 4 cars going off. Not up through Eau Rouge. It was actually in Le Combe, wasn't it, where they all went off. That's where a lot of the action happened, and that's why we see a few cars out of position, and it's caused certainly a lot of entertainment down in the lower echelons of the grid as Heikki tries a little maneuver through the chicane there. He's right on him here as they come into La Source.
It's really interesting on what we see happening on track now. Is like normally you would think, oh, at the end of endurance race, everything calms down, right? Everything happened already. But for you, completely wrong when it's about the Lamborghini The Real Race competition. And Heikki now side by side as they go down to Eau Rouge. One of them, and will have to step back.
You can't go side by side.
You can, but you shouldn't. That's the big thing here. Campo's still on the inside.
That's inevitable.
Heikki does it side by side. They touch with the wheels, but it seems both cars are still running fine. And Heikki has to slot back behind Campo.
Yeah, I mean, that was inevitable, wasn't it? You know, though, it was either going to end at a delicate touch or both cars going off, because it generally never works very well there. So just a little warning sign. But the two Finns, I don't know whether they're friends with one another or not, but either way, certainly battling side by side is great to see.
Yeah, they're putting on a good show for us here. For sure. Last 16.5 minutes. Like he wants to move up. Is his chance? Can he still? Nah, he won't catch Pengraves. Which is interesting because Pengraves was right in front of Campo a bit earlier. But due to all the fighting, lost a ton of time. So Pengraves probably not in rage anymore for Heikki Huttunen. But at least 8th position is. Baumann 5.9 seconds away from Luke Addison. Addison, who's having a great race. Yeah, the other South African driver currently in 3rd. Making it 2/3 of the podium being South African right now, with Alban Bouquet right between them. This fight is our closest currently on the grid and seems to be far from over.
Yeah, Heikki's not giving up on this, is he? Oh, that was a mistake from Campo. Lost the back end a little bit there, and that's opened up the door for Heikki. But Heikki, you can see just on the curbs there, it's really not a place you want to be. And his rear end almost went as well. So both having some slippy moments where they're just having to catch it late. And you can see Heikki just sort of wheel spin wiggling a little bit there. And, well, both. The door was open. And Heikki just refused to walk through it, making a mistake of his own. So, once again, they are going to be very tight. Not as tight as the last lap, mind you. As they go into Les Sources and then off up the hill.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how long they keep this fight going. Like, is it in the same distance, kind of. Although Campo this time had a good run. Might be safe here. Or we get a replay of... I wonder which fight is this one. Is this Campo versus Heikki? Yep, that is the view of Heikki's car. And Campo was just twitching a bit, but he did the same. I mean, he tried to really... Oh, he tried to accelerate.
He's on the curb, yeah.
On the curb and AstroTurf. I think the tires actually were on the AstroTurf. And, yeah, they're really risking it. And, I mean, you can see it reflecting massively. And that's not just because it looks nicer.
It's costing them both in time. I mean, Gabor Sarosi, let's not forget him. He is still 6 seconds back, though. So I think that with 13 minutes to go, I don't think that's going to be quite enough for them. But they are lapping close to nearly 2 seconds a lap slower at the moment, actually. So maybe it will bring him back into it, despite Gabor obviously having that 5-second penalty at the end of the race. But yeah, I mean, the 5-second penalty is not going to cost Gabor a position, because you can see Robin Hurrig is 30 seconds behind him, so his 10th place is certainly confirmed. But yeah, interesting battle between them. Let's see where I want to look at Jordan Sherritt to see whereabouts he got up to, but I'm scared to look away from this because I feel like something's going to happen at any moment. The rain is just torrential and has been throughout the day here at Spa, and it has made certainly for some interesting entertainment. Ooh, Sarosi spun apparently.
Yeah, Gabor Sarosi again. Oh man, the last half an hour of this race kinda isn't really his. Like, first a penalty early on, but he carried on through it, and he did a great, like, put great pace down. He won positions left and right. A good race. But since we're approaching the finish of it now, and I wonder if it's the lack of concentration and keeping focused. But now he's really struggling massively and is falling back even further.
Yeah, not being his day. Definitely. I mean, he's had the 5-second penalties twice now, and this is just going to be hitting the AstroTurf. Yeah. Just tried to turn and accelerate on the curbstones in the AstroTurf. As we've seen multiple times, they're deadly. They are deadly in the wet. There's no doubt about it. Heikki Oitonen, though, once again remaining on the back of Nico Compo, 8th and 9th position. The two Finns, I think they're the only two Finnish drivers, aren't they, in the race? Yes, they are the two Finnish drivers, continuing to certainly entertain us here on track, while the South Africans up front are continuing to try and dominate here. But Nico Compo has been defending for, I would say, the last hour of the race for various drivers.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for him. That's for sure. And it will definitely rain in a bit. But can he held on to that for about 11 and a half minutes? He's doing a great job. His fighting style is interesting. It's not super aggressive, but it's mostly calm and composed. I like that one. Especially when it's about defending it. You're doing that well. But can you keep that on for forever, basically? Because Heikki Huttunen isn't slow at all. And he was able to close this gap. And he obviously wants to also get the reward for it. And take 8th position off Compo.
He's only got 10 minutes left to defend. I mean, it's certainly, I mean, he's been defending for the last hour, so 10 minutes feels like nothing, I suspect here. But yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job, isn't he, Nico? We haven't seen him race too many times here. Heikki Oitonen has been kind of a staple diet, but it's great to see. Obviously, Heikki's had a great race himself because he's had to work through the field, and sort of it's always entertaining when you see a driver sort of carving his way through the field and doing so well at it. But Nico Compo has certainly held his position very well here. But as you can see from Heikki's camera view, he is... Oh, that's not the one I wanted. That was the one I was looking for, as he does try and get up alongside once again. Is it going to be enough? He is going to be on the outside, looking for the switchback, and again, as we see, will they be side by side into Eau Rouge? No, Heikki's realizing that's probably not the best and wants to stay as close as he can, and that's what he wants to be. He wants to stay as close as you can, maybe even back off if you need to, just to be in that position at the end of the camel.
Yeah, I think he did it well now. Look at that. That's exactly the gap that you want. Because you also don't want to be too close. Sounds a bit weird, but if you're too close, you're not getting slipstream long enough to really get the car to have a few more kph at the end of the stretch.
But yeah, that little shake there, I like that from Compo. That totally threw Heikki off guard. And a real nice defensive work from Nico Compo just to completely sort of mentally screw him over, because Heikki was just... It was stuck in the mist. He just followed. Oh, wait, I wanted to make the move here. Oh, I've missed my braking point. Okay. And then just has to sort of stick around. But obviously we've seen Nico Compo making mistakes around these corners here. which is where Gabasarosi picked him off. So he's got to keep his eye on the ball because Heikki is right on him right now.
I'm pretty sure that this fight will stay on until the end, and that's just incredible. I really, really like that. Just, I'm not sure right now who I'll see in an 8th position crossing on the line and getting the checkered flag.
Yeah, I fear that we may be seeing a last-minute bit of a dive bomb, but I hope not. You never know. Once we're in the last 10 minutes, things do tend to often get a little bit crazy. At the moment, though, Heikki is sort of fighting with his car to try and stay in position. Down in P15, Lippens under pressure. Well, not under pressure anymore. That was pretty much done before I even got a chance to look at the TV cam. And that is Alves making his way through, and a simple just outbreaking himself there for Lippens.
Heikki is just so close. Look at that. It was on the inside once again of Kumpu, just quickly. And that lost a bit of a drive coming out of the chicane. That's the problem. If you risk it there on the exit and you can't really hammer down. I'm already struggling with traction, obviously, due to the weather conditions. But Heikki is in a good spot. Coming through Rouge now. Might be a bit too far away. Depends on how he gets the drive out now. Kumpu had to cut the corner a bit. It's sketchy on the exit.
Yeah, not even close enough this time. And he needs to basically, obviously, other than Kumpu making a mistake throughout the rest of the lap, it's really a case of getting himself in a position. But to be honest, we haven't seen that many moves working into Lecombe, which ordinarily you would. It seems to have been struggling out there, and speaking of struggling, Kumpu having a bit of an issue there. Can he get up the inside? No, Kumpu parks his car on the inside that time around. You're not coming past here, Heikki. That's where Sarosi kidnapped him last time, just zipped straight up the inside. Heikki's having a little look at it. Oh my God, don't go on that green stuff, it's going to hurt. And that's a little hairy for both drivers.
Yeah, it's like Heikki, I think he's losing patience right now. It's like he sees that the time is running out, 6.5 minutes still on the clock, and he, as I say, he just wants his reward. Man, he was chasing. He was having a comeback, and now he wants that position. He wants to go up to 8th, and he might also know that we're watching this fight, that's for sure.
Kenny Chat points out that Bouquet seems to be struggling, and he certainly has, actually. Now let's have a quick look at Bouquet. He has gone down a 127.1 in his last lap, as opposed to a 227, as opposed to a 226.2 from Luke Addison behind him. Now he's 10 seconds back. I wonder, is that just a mistake from Bouquet, or is he going to be low on fuel? Is he having to ease off a little bit here? We've seen it before. Towards the end of the race, people getting caught out by Jordan Sherritt's pace and underestimating maybe a lap extra that Jordan Sherritt may well just pop in there, and people not prepared for it fuel-wise. And I wonder if Bouquet maybe just realizing, oh, I better edge off a little bit. See if Addison's got the pace to try and catch. I mean, it's still 10 seconds in 5 minutes. That's a big ask. It's a big ask. It needs to be Bouquet backing off a lot for that to make it work. I will keep my eyes on the times, though, as we look back at the Heikki battle.
Heikki once again in the slipstream. Camel straight. If he didn't work this time, they probably get another 2 laps in. He's super close. Kumpu trying to cover the inside. Heikki moving to the outside. If he can make that stick, we know that it can work. They really squeeze around the inside. Heikki has to go over the curbs. That will not get him all the grip that he wants. And Kumpu, again, coming out on top, but it's not done. Moving right in front of the braking zone, trying to cover up the inside line, but that might have been a mistake, because look at how Heikki came into that with way more momentum, but Kumpu just gets lucky, I have to say, on that one. as Heike is struggling for grip on the exit.
Oh,
Especially with now taking the AstroTurf, and Kumpo once again remaining in 8th position.
well, 4 minutes to go, which, if we look at Jordan Sherritt's position, is going to equate to, what, 2 laps at best, I would say. He's just took over Robin Hurig, by the way, so he's now taken over up to 11th place, Jordan Sherritt. He's next on his list is Gabor Sarosi, but I don't think he's going to catch that far up there. But yeah, what a battle. The two Finns having a fantastic battle here. Don't know whether they're friends, whether they know each other, or whether they even know each other at finish. I'm sure, you know, generally you kind of know who the good drivers are in your region, right? So I'm pretty sure they're well aware of one another. But they have been having a fantastic battle here for the last half an hour. You know, first off, it was Sarosi having a go at Compo. Now it's Heikki Hoitanen, who's, whoa, that's been a bad exit from Compo. He's got onto the AstroTurf, and that is Heikki going through. And damage maybe on Compo, but I don't think he needs to be too worried. Sarosi's still a long way back, 15 seconds behind him. But a big off there from Compo. We'll probably have a replay look out in just a few moments. It looked like it was the standard corner right on the exit. Just gets his rear tyres on either the AstroTurf or the curbstone. Either way, it just sent him spiraling. Let's have a look at that and see exactly where it went wrong, as we just caught sort of the tail end of it as we were looking at it from Heikki's point of view.
It's like that's not the finish that I wanted to see for this fight, but we had to happen at one point. Yeah, once again, it was the AstroTurf.
Yeah.
We warned them. They weren't listening. And now Kumpo had to pay the price. Look at his steering. Yep, that's completely off. Steering rack. Maybe steering arm broken. Not pulled into the pits, though. But yeah, he will not come back from that one.
No, I mean, he's like a lot slower now. Obviously, he's fighting with the steering, as you mentioned. Look, you can see he's sort of veering all over the place at the moment. The question is, can Gabor Sarosi sort of catch him? There's only 2 minutes left here. I don't think it's going to be certainly possible for him. Jordan Sherritt now coming up once again. We've got, 1 minute 30 to go here. I was promising to keep my eyes on the times, by the way, of Bouquet. Well, I can tell you bad news for Luca Addison fans. He has picked his times back up there as he goes over the line for the final time and starts his final lap. Jordan Sherritt, though, has been by and far the best driver of the day, the best driver of the season. There's no doubt about it. The young South African has been fantastic once again here in the rain at Spa. And as he looks to complete his 49th lap inside 2 hours of the circuit, he has dominated once again.
Yeah, Jordan the untouchable Sherritt, basically, as he's slowly cruising, not slowly, but cruising, I would assume, towards another race victory and event victory here. As this is just an endurance, it's an endurance race, so it's only that 2-hour race, not a second main race like we had over sprint and main formats, which means it is another event win, another race win as well, and he absolutely deserves that. Unfortunately for Kumpo, lost his 8th spot, but seems like he won't lose any more. Depends on. He's probably rolling it now, trying to not cross the line.
Yeah, he just had it was telling me he just had another off, and you can see Sarosi. It was a 5 second, 15 seconds. It's now 5. But
he has to do the lap anyway.
Just gone over the line. Yeah, so
yeah, he has to do the lap anyway.
He's got another lap. I just wonder whether he's going to be able to gain it. It's a 10-second gap. I don't think he's going to be able to gain it in one lap. But maybe. Kumpo did look like he was fighting hard with that car. But here comes Jordan Sherritt as he approaches Le Source, and over the line he goes. Fantastic race for Jordan overall. Dominated through out there. You can see Hurig, if I try and spin down, having a great old time. I missed him. I ended up on somebody else instead. Razzieri is going to be coming over the line as well, obviously, as all the back markers that were lapped here do finish off their race ahead of everyone else there. And Alves and Lippins will go over. It is going to be Bouquet coming in second place. A fantastic drive for him. We haven't seen much of Albon Bouquet throughout this race. Luke Addison, though, what a great move for him. Got past Benjamin Baumann. You can see Baumann up behind him. Had gained quite a lot of ground, it seemed, on Luke Addison, but he will confirm the podium position in third. Benjamin Baumann in fourth for the young Swiss driver, and Fazekas, just a little off circuit there as I go to him, will look to be closing out fifth place.
Yeah, great race from all the drivers that finished here. Not an easy one at all. A constantly wet and increasing wet race.
Oh, Luke spun on the last lap, did he?
Yeah, Luke Edison right there as well. He spun out, unfortunately. He still finished the race. That's the important bit. And he still gets the podium spot. But he wasn't able to catch. Okay, although he had an awesome drive. Barbieri now coming across the line in sixth. So another top 10 finish for him. Pangrace right behind there with Alves and...
That's 15th and 16th.
Lippins. Yeah, that's
Lippins.
like 15th.
They're actually battling for 15th and 16th. Who's going to get it? Lippins will. Alves will, as Lippins was forced wide there. Oh, Campo had another off, actually. He's really fighting with it. So at the moment, Rossi still 7 seconds back, though. I think it's just enough that Campo can sort of
and Rossi still has the 5-second penalty. Still a 5-second penalty. So even if he takes him out, if he overtakes him now, it's very unlikely that he will get it. But Campo comes across the line, deserves the top 10 finish. Obviously, we'll be very sad of what happened there. An awesome fight that he showed us here, like the viewers and us, for nearly half of this race. With a sad ending for him, unfortunately.
Sad ending indeed. But Jordan Sherratt, honestly, well-deserved champion once again. You know, dominated the endurance race overall. GG's indeed. Great to see Luke getting himself up into third as well. He was hoping he could get second. Wasn't quite enough for him, though, unfortunately, to sort of get it done, as the case was. Here is this is the Lippins and Alves having their close finish down in 15th and 16th. It's great to see. Even it doesn't matter where you are, you can still have a close battle even down the bottom of the grid there. And obviously both these drivers, you know, they've had a lot of battles throughout the season, actually, in fairness. Oh, he's just done him on the chicane and he's trying to get the exit. Alves, he's just wheel spinning like crazy, trying to get away from it there on the AstroTurf, but finally finds a little bit of grip. Almost a sad story for Alves there.
Yeah, that was a great finish. I mean, both drivers on different lines out of the chicane, and it was once again just everyone struggling for their grip, right? Trying to get traction out of that corner one way or another. And in this case, it was Lippins who couldn't get it done, fortunately for him. But great fight for us at the end of this race, and I would say great 2 hours once again we had of racing action here in Lamborghini The Real Race, and just proves how good racing is if you've got the right drivers. Incredible to watch, entertaining to watch, and that makes me more hyped for what's coming up next, because the 10th race is the last of our season, and Lee, for that, we will all be in a TV studio once again.
Yes, we will be there live in the studio covering all 3 regions, which would be fantastic. We'll be crowning 3 champions within one day. But speaking of champions, let's have a look at the winner for today. And he is by and far the championship leader. It is, of course, Jordan Sherratt, the young 22-year-old South African, who has dominated. And you can see, look at that, a 225.032. Wasn't able to quite nip into that 224s. And in fairness to him, the track did get a lot wetter towards the second half of the race.
Yeah, definitely. It's just incredible how he's capable of getting even quicker while everyone else struggling more, right? We saw that there in the race. In the beginning, everyone seemed to have handled the rain fairly well, right? And then after the pit stops, with more rain out there on the track, it became harder and harder. We saw people spinning out. We saw more crashes. And not even crashes, as you would normally say in a public session, right? Where the people connected each other and smashed into each other. Like, no, it was just people really being on the edge fighting and then losing the rear of the car, going over the AstroTurf, clipping a curb, and then losing the car entirely.
Yeah. It was generally unforced errors as well. It wasn't even when they were under pressure. A lot of the time it was simply unforced errors, just on the exit of a corner, just putting the power down a little too early when you're on either the slippery curbs or on the AstroTurf, and they were just into the barrier they went. Yeah, I mean, it's probably about 5 or 6 drivers we saw doing the exact same incident, so it's not like, I mean, it was catching out some of the best as well. Razzieri, obviously, the second place multiple times on the podium. He was caught out by it today as well.
Yeah, it's just luckily that there's no snow in ACC. Otherwise, we would have need to cope with that one as well. But rain is enough, I would say. But it's never enough racing action, that's for sure. And there will be more racing action coming up end of this month when Liam and me heading over to the big TV studio, bringing you the Lamborghini The Real Race, the grand finale, the last race live from all 3 regions. Obviously, we'll be joined by another host. We've got a great environment, and we bring even more racing action to you. So if you thought this one was good and you're kind of sad that it's already over, don't worry. We'll return at the end of the month. We'll also return with our partners that we thank them for what we had so far in this championship, making all this possible. Obviously, ACC, that's the sim that we're playing, and the one that you saw on your screen the last 2 hours. Intel, Kaspersky, Secret Labs, making all this happening, and obviously Lamborghini The Real Race kind of makes sense. All right. That's actually it for me. Thanks, Lee, for joining me once again for the race.
No problem.
And that means we see each other in the studio next time. My name is Randy Butler. See you there.